Welcome back to the channel. This is Trinity Storm, and you are watching first part of What If Naruto Was Saved by Sand Siblings. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Now, wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Valley of the End. The mission to retrieve Sasuke. With Naruto in tow, Sasuke Uchiha leapt out of the water and started swimming towards the shore. Once they arrived, Sasuke left Naruto on the bank and peered down at him. When Naruto's Rasengan struck Sasuke on the shoulder, ripping off most of his left side and leaving him bleeding profusely, Sasuke's left arm had been severed and his left leg had been severely injured. Sasuke glanced down at Naruto's wounds and chuckled as the wound on his chest began to gradually heal and his face once again took on color. After losing blood, Sasuke uttered a feeble, "Well, Naruto. Looks like you won." After, Sasuke started but did not complete. Leaving a trail of blood in his wake, Sasuke fell backwards into the water, the current carrying him away. For approximately 15 minutes, Naruto lay unconscious on the valley floor. Suddenly, someone landed, and Kakashi looked around, thinking, "No Sasuke," and, "Looks like he got away." The small dog caught Kakashi's attention and Pakun said, "Hey Kakashi, look over here." Glancing over to the shore, Kakashi saw a severed arm. He inhaled deeply. "So, Naruto killed Sasuke, huh?" Looking down at Naruto, Kakashi uttered, "God. I wish there had been an alternative." Bending down to pick Naruto up, he remarked, "But I know Naruto. If he did it then he had no other choice." Kakashi nodded sorrowfully as Pakun remarked, "The kid might not be bright, but he has a good head on his shoulders. Still, killing a comrade isn't easy. You of all people should know that. When he wakes up, he'll need someone to break the news, better me than someone else," declared Kakashi. "Let's go and get him some help," declared Kakashi. He and Pakun departed the area carrying an unconscious Naruto. A few hours later in Konoha. After returning, Tsunade Senju, the fifth Hokage, just finished stabilizing Naruto. Although he is unconscious now, he will eventually wake up. She knew that the civilian council and most of the shinobi council wanted to protect him because he had a rare Kekkei Genkai, so she was in the Konoha council chambers about to learn how the last Uchiha was killed. "Lady Tsunade," asked Kaharu, "is it true that Sasuke Uchiha is dead? And that he was killed during the attempt to retrieve him?" When Kaharu inquired, Tsunade nodded. "Correct," Tsunade replied. "Naruto Uzumaki had to use lethal force in order to stop Sasuke Uchiha. While it is unfortunate, it is better for Sasuke to be eliminated than to be in the hands of a madman like Orochimaru," Tsunade replied. The next instant, Tsunade was inundated with accusations and yells. "It's that damn boy's fault. He's out of control. We lost the last of a great clan. We should kill him in repentance," everyone was shouting. Tsunade slammed her fist and yelled, "Shut up. Naruto did cause the mission to fail, but that's not his fault. We shouldn't be blaming him." Then Danzo Shimura got up. Tsunade became enraged as Danzo addressed her, saying, "Lady Tsunade, it is evident that the boy has no control over the power he possesses. He should either be eliminated or placed under me for supervision and training. And, goddamn it, turn him into a soulless killing machine," Tsunade uttered, to which Danzo grinned. "Very well then, I say we take a vote tomorrow then," Danzo continued. "Tomorrow we vote yay or nay. Naruto either be let off for his failure or placed under my command," he stated. Tsunade grimaced in response. A vote can be called to determine the solution to a problem in accordance with Konoha law, but Tsunade just grinned. The Inazuka, Aburame, Yamanaka, Akamichi, and Nara clans will vote to keep Naruto free, while the entire civilian council and the Hyuga clan will support Danzo. Tsunade remarked, "Very well, Danzo. We'll see to this vote tomorrow." Tsunade declared, "This meeting is adjourned," as the participants started to leave. Danzo grinned to himself as he started to leave, thinking, "Great, time for the second part of my plan." Konoha Hospital, courtyard outside. A man yelled, "Let us in to kill that demon." A woman yelled, "He killed the Uchiha. We want revenge." "What's wrong with you people?" Naruto had no choice. "You don't need to do this," Sakura yelled at the throng as she blocked the entrance in an attempt to keep them out. Sakura hurried to the hospital to see Naruto as soon as Kakashi-sensei told her what had happened. He had promised her something, and she now felt bad for putting that pressure on him. Approximately 500 individuals were forming a mob outside the door, prepared to kill Naruto when she arrived. A man approached and yelled, "Get out of our way, girl, or else you'll," but was pushed back into the crowd by a wall of sand. Emerging from a swirl of sand, Gaara declared, "You will not hurt Uzumaki. You will not pass. While me and my siblings are here." "Oh yeah, what are you going to do?" exclaimed a man in the throng. With his sand swirling all around him, Gaara yelled, "I'll crush you like the vermin you are. Now leave before I lose my temper." Then, the mob that was about to storm in started to disperse. Gaara put the sand back in his gourd and turned to face Sakura. Sakura sighed with relief when Gaara said, "Uzumaki is unconscious but safe. Please come back tomorrow to see him if he's awake." Sakura nodded. Sakura said, "Thank you. Please keep him safe," and Gaara nodded. "I have two of the best shinobi in Suna guarding him," said Gaara. "With Kankuro and Temari." Since multiple nurses have attempted to poison Naruto, Kankuro, a poison expert, examined every medication while he was in Naruto's room reading something disgusting from a nurse. Kankuro handed the vial back to the nurse and said, "Okay, go ahead." He then stopped her and said, "Use my syringe." He pulled out a syringe from his pouch, and the nurse took it. After giving Naruto the injection, the nurse started to leave. "You think I wouldn't notice the small drop of poison from your needle?" Kankuro asked, causing the nurse to blanch. Kankuro remarked, "You're lucky I can't kill you," as the nurse left. Upon exiting, Kankuro noticed his sister Temari seated in a chair, gazing at the door. "Motherfuckers. He saved the village from Shukaku and this is how they repay him," Temari snarled as Kankuro nodded in response to her question. Temari nodded as Kankuro said, "It stinks, I know, but all we can do for now is guard him." Alongside Choji. After using his family's food pills, Choji Akamichi was unconscious and fighting for his life as he lay in his hospital bed. Anbu emerged from the shadows in the corner of the room, wearing a blank mask, and extracted a needle, which he inserted into Choji's IV. Choji started to shake wildly and hyperventilate in a matter of seconds. Eventually, he stopped breathing and moving. Then, according to Choji's heart monitor, he plateaued and started beeping steadily. The Anbu said, "Mission complete," before vanishing once more into the night. After 60 seconds, the door opened. "Choji? Choji." As he and Ino ran in, Shikamaru yelled and started CPR on Choji. As she dashed into the hallway, Ino yelled, "Help, help. Someone help us." After a few hours, Temari, Kankuro, and Gaara were watching over Naruto in his room. He was still unconscious, and several more medical professionals had attempted to murder him. "Oh my god, we're not going to sleep tonight," Temari thought to herself as she caught a glimpse of Shikamaru Nara approaching them from the corner of her eye, brandishing a kunai. Temari said, "Hey lazy ass, what's going on? Did you see someone trying to get to Naruto? Move out of the way, Temari," Shikamaru sternly commanded. Temari, sensing what was about to happen, was ready, her fan obstructing the hallway. "I told you to get out of my goddamn way," Temari scowled in response to Shikamaru. Temari said, "You better not be doing what I think you're doing," to which Shikamaru responded with a frown. "Neji is on life support, Sasuke is dead, the mission failed, and it's all his fucking fault," Shikamaru uttered angrily. "Choji is dead," Shikamaru yelled. "Naruto is a ninja. Ninja kill people, people die on missions," Temari responded. "It isn't his fault, you and the village are just blind idiots," she responded. When Shikamaru attempted to maneuver around her, Temari grabbed her fan without thinking twice and swung it at him. After striking Shikamaru fatally in the chest and sending her hurtling into a wall, Temari positioned her fan in front of her. Temari uttered with venom, "I'll kill you if you try that shit again." With a wince, Shikamaru stood up and said, "Fine, whatever. Just you watch. He'll get what's coming to him," he added, starting to move away. With a pout, Temari sat back down. "Looks like I was wrong about him," she thought to herself as her feelings for the Nara boy faded away in those few minutes. "Fuck, this is intense," Kankuro replied, "I'm going to take a piss and get something to eat." "I'll bring you something back," he stated. Kankuro overheard a discussion taking place in the break room as he was moving down the hallway. A nurse whispered to a doctor, when are those sand ninja going to leave? From what I hear tomorrow, a physician stated. Once they leave, we can be rid of that demon once and for all, he stated. Shit, that's right, our visas expire tomorrow, so we're going back to Suna, Kankuro thought as his eyes grew wide. Kankuro snuck away, thinking, we can't just leave Naruto here. I need, that's it, he realized as he entered the bathroom. It's absurd, but it might work, Kankuro considered. The Konoha Council chambers the next day. Tsunade apologized, saying, I was saying farewell to the Suna team who assisted us, as she sat down in the chambers. Now let's get this vote over with, Tsunade remarked. Agreed, Danzo stood and said. I, Danzo Shimura, hereby vote to place Naruto Uzumaki under my supervision for imprisonment and training. Nay, say those who oppose, he inquired. Sume Inuzuka, Shibi Aburame, and Tsunade all said, nay. With just 3 votes out of 12, Tsunade felt her blood run cold. Danzo said, those who agree say yeah. Yes, said Homura, Kaharu, and 6 more people. Vote is 9-3. Yay to nay, Danzo replied. Uzumaki upon waking up will be under my command. Tsunade got up and slammed her hands on the table after Danzo said this. Tsunade yelled, Shikaku, Inoichi, Shoza, how could you? To a fellow shinobi. My son passed away yesterday, Shoza sobbed. His death would not have been in vain if Uzumaki had more control over his power, as he could have brought back the Uchiha. Shikaku remarked, we stand by our friend. It also makes sense because Naruto possesses almost limitless power. At that moment, the chambers were rocked by an explosion. Tsunade exclaimed, what now? As an Anbu entered the space. This is Naruto Uzumaki, Lady Hokage. His room has been bombed, he exclaimed, to which Danzo and the other guests in the room gave him a shocked look. Tsunade asked, her face going blank, is he alive? He said, we don't know my lady. In the medical facility. Shizune was searching for Naruto Uzumaki's room's debris. As Shizune moved the debris, she prayed, please be in here, please be alive. Underneath a chunk of debris, she discovered a dead Konoha ninja. An assassin, Shizune considered. Anbu yelled, Lady Shizune, and then pointed to a burned headband and said, I found something. Running over, Shizune peered behind it and saw that it had, Naruto Uzumaki, future Hokage, written in orange marker on the back. Shizune covered her mouth and started to cry when she heard a footstep. She noticed a pallid Tsunade. Tsunade turned to face Shizune and then the headband, asking, where's Naruto, Shizune? Where's he? As she entered. In an attempt to pull her away, Shizune said, Lady Tsunade. Don't, but Tsunade snatched the headband from her and held it tightly. Oh God, Naruto. Why did you have to leave us? Tsunade choked out as she started to cry on the ground as he collapsed to the ground. Alongside Temari, Kankuro, and Gaara. As they made their way back to Suna, Gaara, Temari, and Kankuro worried about Naruto because they didn't trust the Anbu who was meant to be watching over him. On the other hand, Kankuro couldn't stop looking back at them. Kankuro calmed down, Temari said. There is no need to worry. I'm sure the Hokage will do something, she stated. Temari and Gaara were shocked when Kankuro ran to the Konoha. Suna border, ignoring her earlier. Then Kankuro lifted his puppet off his back and started to open its wrapping. As he started to unwrap the puppet, Kankuro exclaimed, home free. Kankuro, what are you? Gaara started, but Temari and Gaara were shocked when Kankuro took off the last of the bandages to reveal Naruto. Naruto was still unconscious, covered in bandages from crows, and had machine oil dyed his hair brown. Kankuro, what, how, why, Temari stammered, unable to believe what she was seeing, and Kankuro intervened by raising his hand. Kankuro replied, I can explain. Naruto groaned as he opened his eyes and surveyed his surroundings. Ugh damn, he exclaimed, realizing that his head and body hurt more than at any other moment in his memory. It was different even though he could see that he was in a hospital room. Unlike the rest of the hospital, which was typically constructed of plaster, this room appeared to be constructed of stone and clay. Naruto said, where the hell am I? As he peered around. At that moment, a nurse entered through the door. The nurse dropped the tray containing the liquids and cloth as soon as she spotted Naruto and hurried over. She looked over him and exclaimed, "Oh, my goodness, you're awake. Please wait right here. I will go and get Lord Gaara," she said, storming out of the room. After a few minutes of silent waiting, Naruto asked himself, "Gaara. What does Gaara have to do with this?" When the door opened again, he saw 3 familiar faces. Naruto grinned and said, "Gaara, Kankuro, Temari. Hey guys, what's up?" Gaara said in a monotone voice, but with a faint smile, "Uzumaki, looks like you awoke." Kankuro said to Naruto, "Hey Blondie, looks like you finally woke up after all. And it looks like the oil washed out of your hair. It only took a few soaks." This confused Naruto. "How are you feeling?" Temari inquired, and Naruto stretched. "Welcome back to the land of the living, Naruto," Temari greeted him. Naruto scratched his neck and said, "I feel like I got drop-kicked off the Hokage mountain, but other than that, I'm fine." "Hey, where am I?" "This isn't Konoha," he said, looking confused, and the 3 Sand siblings exchanged somber looks. Naruto's eyes widened as Gaara remarked, "You're in Suna, Uzumaki. You are here because we helped you escape Konoha while you were unconscious." "Escape? What do you mean escape?" worried Naruto, who was then approached by Kankuro. "I wrapped you up in the bandages for my puppet," Kankuro stated. "We left Konoha with you disguised so we won't garner any suspicion," Kankuro replied. Temari grabbed Naruto's hand and said, "Naruto, listen to me. There's a lot you need to know." Gaara, Kankuro, and Temari spent the next few minutes outlining everything that had happened since he was rendered unconscious. The majority of Konoha's citizens want Naruto to live in repentance for killing Sasuke. He accidentally kills Sasuke, and his erstwhile allies, Shikamaru and Ino, turn against him because Choji died. "And yesterday after we arrived to Suna we put you here in the hospital," Gaara continued. "Since then we have heard that the puppet Kankuro set up to stage your death has since exploded. So, for all intents and purposes, you are dead to Konoha and the rest of the world," said Gaara. Sitting in bed, Naruto was silent and wide-eyed. Konoha, his house, desired for him to be killed. Years of friendship with his friends turned against him. Temari gently said, "Naruto. Are you okay?" As she placed her hand on his shoulder. Naruto turned to face her and opened his mouth, but nothing came out. The 3 Sand siblings became frightened and approached Naruto as he started to tremble and hyperventilate. Naruto then started to thrash wildly and clutch his chest. Gaara used his sand to stop him. Temari cried, "What the hell? And, what's happening?" "I believe he is experiencing a panic attack," Nakuro said, reaching into his pouch. "I apologize, buddy," Nakuro said, taking out a syringe. After Naruto received an injection from Kankuro by jabbing the syringe into his neck, Naruto started to relax. Then, Naruto fell back onto the bed as his eyes rolled to the back of his head. Gaara inquired, "What was that?" To Kankuro. "Horse tranquilizer," Kankuro explained. "I use it to poison my needles in case we need to capture a fleeing target," according to him. "Oh my god," Temari rubbed her temples. He wakes up from a mission that nearly killed him only to learn that his village wants him dead and he killed his comrade. Kankuro remarked, "He had to find out sooner or later. I'm going to go get a doctor." And turned to leave. "I have some work to do for Naruto," Gaara said to Temari, who nodded. "I'm heading to the case cage tower." After that, Gaara vanished into a sand whirl, leaving Temari by herself with an unconscious Naruto. As Temari started to caress the unconscious boy's hair, she said, "Naruto, I'm so sorry that this is happening to you. But don't worry. You still have me, Gaara, and Kankuro. You helped us, so we will help you." Konoha. After 2 days. Sakura Haruno shed a few tears as she placed a few flowers on Naruto's makeshift grave. She had to make do with what she had because Konoha had forbidden her from giving him a proper funeral. Then Sakura pivoted to face the small group of people that had gathered. Even though Naruto was despised by most of the village, some people did not hold a grudge against him. In defiance of their father's wishes, Hinata and Hanabi Hyuga visited Naruto in secret to show their respect. However, when Neji learned of what had transpired, he completely changed his mind and declared that Naruto was a hypocrite and a liar. Since then, the two girls have formed a group and have been separating from their tribe. Never having harbored resentment toward Naruto, Shino Aburame believed the entire situation was nonsensical. He had warned Kiba, who was against Naruto, to avoid him in Hinata and to respect his legacy. Kurenai Yuhi and Asuma Sarutobi also made an appearance. Asuma liked the boy because his father, the third Hokage, did, and Kurenai was moved by Naruto's determination to bring justice to Hinata by defeating Neji in the Chunin exams. Because they all loved and admired Naruto, for Konohamaru, he was a big brother. For Udon, he served as an inspiration. And for Moegi, despite her denials, Naruto was her first love. Konohamaru, Udon, and Moegi showed up. Both Might Guy and Rock Lee thought highly of Naruto for his bravery and tenacity. However, Tenten, who was unaware of Naruto, chose to support Neji, and as a result, Team Guy has lost 2 matches. They were joined by Tuchi and Ayame Ichiraku, who had suffered greatly since hearing the news. Since Naruto passed away, they have taken away his favorite stool to ensure that no one sits there ever again. Naruto was the shop's bright spot. There were Iruka and Anko. Iruka regarded Naruto as a brother, and Anko identified with Naruto as an outcast from the village. Hiding in the tree, peering down, were Yugao, Ibiki, and roughly 50 Anbu. These people knew more about Naruto and his parents than the villagers did. After learning about what had happened, some of them even considered giving up, but Yugao reassured them that Naruto wouldn't want them to leave because of him. Lastly, we have Tsunade and Shizune, 2 women who were complete wrecks following Naruto's demise. Before Shizune and Anko intervened, Tsunade had been drinking herself into a coma. Ever since, she has been reduced to a shadow of her former self. Sakura spoke up after glancing at the audience. I always knew he had feelings for me, but I always brushed him off for Sasuke. I was foolish for doing so. Instead of being with a cold-hearted traitor, I could have had a goofy knucklehead with a heart of gold. But I threw it away. I wish I was better to him, and if I could see him one more time, I'd tell him how much I appreciate and cherish him. But I can't. All I can do now is live on in his memory. Therefore, I will honor Naruto Uzumaki by training hard and taking his place as Hokage. Tears streamed down Sakura's cheeks as she turned to face the assembly and stepped aside to allow the next person to speak. A short while after the funeral, Sakura and I. Kakashi-sensei, come on out, Sakura yelled as she started to knock on the door once more. You missed the funeral. Come on out, Sakura repeated. Fuck this, Sakura exclaimed as she raised her foot and kicked the door open. Kakashi-sensei, you gotta, oh my god, Sakura exclaimed, not believing what she was witnessing. At the table, Kakashi was unconscious with several bottles of alcohol in front of him. Sakura took a bottle and threw its contents over Kakashi's head. Kakashi then stood up and swung a kunai, which Sakura caught. Sakura then took away the inebriated Kakashi's weapon and sat him back down in the chair. Running his temples, Kakashi exclaimed, what the fuck, Sakura? What do you want? Let me just wallow here in my misery? He grabbed another bottle and cracked it open, to which Sakura slapped it out of his hand. Sakura remarked, you are here drinking yourself to death, to which Kakashi scoffed. Well, what? Why are you concerned? Kakashi asked. 2 of my genin are dead. One was killed by foolish villagers, and the other was killed because he turned traitor. And you? Why do you want me to stop? Kakashi asked. I disregarded you and Naruto in favor of Sasuke, all because I believed I could save the ungrateful little shit. Sakura slapped him across the face, causing him to fall out of the chair. I should have killed him when I saw the curse mark like Lord Hokage wanted. He was no Anko, just a power. Hungry bastard, Kakashi said. Sakura yelled, train me, damn it, if you feel that way. I'm your last student. You think Naruto would have wanted you to drink yourself to death? Kakashi laughed. Sakura sighed and huffed, and Kakashi said, what do you care about what Naruto would have wanted? All you ever did was chase after Sasuke. You were so blinded by lust that you basically wanted to be his whore. Sakura turned around and said, you're right, Kakashi. I was blind before, but my eyes are open now. Sakura then made Kakashi look at her. I'm planning on becoming Hokage to honor Naruto, Sakura said, turning around. But I'm not going to just give up, Sakura added. Gazing at Sakura walk away, Kakashi sighed and said, I won't be late. Be at training ground 7 tomorrow at 6 a.m. Sakura turned around and grinned. Sakura said, see you then, as she left, shutting the door behind her. Kakashi then got up and staggered over to the restroom. As he started to throw up in the bathroom, Kakashi exclaimed, oh god, I feel like shit. Tower of Hokage. Jiraiya slammed his hands on the table and yelled, what the fuck happened? Tsunade sighed. I leave for a week and come back and find out that Naruto is dead, the village hates him, and you are in a power struggle with Danzo, Jiraiya said. Danzo has been using my connections with Naruto against me, Jiraiya, Tsunade stated. He now has the support of the Shinobi Academy and the Civilian Council. 75% of the shinobi hate Naruto, 90% of the civilians hate him, and the only clan I have support from is the Aburame, she stated. Why them? Jiraiya inquired. Sume and the Inuzuka aren't doing too hot either. The clan is split with Sume and her daughter on one side and her son on the other. They see Naruto as the container of the 9 tails, just as they carry those insects in their bodies, Tsunade remarked. Naruto has been gaining support from his clan ever since Kiba disliked him, and there have been rumors of him breaking away and forming a new clan, she said. After that, Jiraiya sat down and said, my god, how did things get this bad? Tsunade started to laugh. And that's not even the worst part yet, Tsunade continued. Shikamaru Nara and Ino Yamanaka. Both have been slandering Naruto. The village now sees him as a jealous angry brat who murdered a clan heir in order to pave the way to being Hokage. Jiraiya let out a sigh of relief. Jiraiya thought, I should have listened to Sensei when he said that Naruto would benefit from being in the village, and look at how that turned out. I'm heading out, Tsunade, Jiraiya said, getting up. I have to find Orochimaru and kill him. Also, I can't stand being in this village, Jiraiya added, glancing out at the street celebrations. If Minato saw what he gave his life for, he'd be rolling in his grave, Jiraiya continued. Tsunade nodded and continued. I don't know what Danzo has planned, Jiraiya. Tsunade responded, but we must fight him every step of the way. We will not let him capitalize on the tragedy we have suffered, she said as he nodded. I'll be in contact, Tsunade, Jiraiya responded. Also, do you have all of the Uzumaki and Namikaze clan scrolls? He inquired. Yes, why? Inquired Tsunade. I'd rather not have Danzo or some other greedy fucker take them, Jiraiya said, adding, burn the ones that are not important and send the rest to Mount Myoboku. Tsunade concurred. Tsunade said, okay, I'll send them there. Goodbye, Jiraiya. It's unfortunate that you were unable to attend the funeral. Tsunade, I was there when his pink-haired teammate gave her little speech, Jiraiya said, causing her to widen her eyes. I left because if I stayed any longer then I would have been crying harder than I already was, Jiraiya added, before he vanished into a swirl of leaves. Alongside Danzo. Sitting in his office, going through some paperwork, Danzo thought to himself, I may have lost the 9 tails, but I have not lost the war. I just need to buy some time. When the time is right, I'll take on the role of Hokage and usher in a new era for the Leaf. Danzo said to himself, now I just need some loyal pawns. As he studied the photos of Shikamaru Nara, Ino Yamanaka, and Neji Hyuga, he realized, these 3 will do perfectly. Suna the following day. Temari asked the accompanying nurse, how long has Naruto been in there? As they stood outside the hospital's shower room. The nurse sighed. Temari sighed and knocked after the nurse said, all day. He took a chair in there. Temari said, Naruto, you have to get out. Are you just going to stay in the shower forever? Yes, Temari moaned and kicked the door as Naruto spoke through it. Shut the fucking door! Exclaimed Temari. Telling Temari and the nurse to look at each other, Naruto said, I didn't lock it. Then, as Temari and the nurse blushed in shame, Temari reached out and turned the knob, causing it to open. Then, Temari entered the room expecting to see a nude Naruto. Instead, she saw him completely clothed, sobbing in the fetal position while taking a shower. Temari thought, OSH*T, his depression is worse than it was yesterday. In an attempt to be more tactful, Temari said, Naruto, please get up. Naruto started crying again and said, why should I? In between sobs. I have nothing now. I had very little before and now I have nothing. Just leave me here, he cried. Then Temari's heart broke for the boy. Temari thought, oh man, I hope this works. Naruto, you need to get up. You have a mission, she uttered. After stopping to cry, Naruto turned over. He questioned, a mission? Me, and Temari nodded. Temari answered, yes, a mission at the Cage Tower. Get dressed and let's go. With a nod, Naruto stood up. Naruto said as he was leaving the shower and getting out of the room, fine, but I won't be chasing cats again. The nurse said, I'll get you some dry cloths, and turned to leave. Naruto nodded and took a seat in a chair. So, who is assigning the missions? Asked Naruto. Didn't the last Cage die or something? Temari smirked in response. Temari said, yeah, our new Cage is stepping up today, which perplexed Naruto. After 2 hours, Cage Tower. Temari and Kankuro were by Gaara's side as he sat behind the Cage desk, saying, glad you could make it, Uzumaki. Congrats on becoming Cage Gaara, Naruto said glumly, so what's this about a mission? I can't even go on one, I'm a leaf genin and dead, Naruto replied. Gaara reached into his desk and nodded. Yes, you are dead to Konoha. But only me, Kankuro, Temari, the doctor and a nurse know about you being alive, Gaara stated, so if one more sand ninja joins the ranks, no one will be the wiser, he replied. Then he threw something at Naruto, who managed to catch it, a headband belonging to Suna. Gaara. Is this? Naruto started, and Gaara gave a nod. Naruto started to cry when Gaara said, you will be instated as a sand ninja. You will be given a new name, a new life, and a new home here in Suna. Naruto choked out, thanks, Gaara. He then wrapped the headband around his forehead and asked, so what now? Kankuro approached with a piece of paper. Naruto took the paper and did as Kankuro instructed, pour your chakra into this. The paper then broke in half, and Kankuro grinned, saying, wind affinity. Perfect. Naruto said, excellent how, and Gaara answered. Because now Temari is going to be your tutor, said Gaara. Well, wait what? Temari exclaimed. I've never tutored a student before. Temari's eyes widened as Gaara said, too bad. You are one of the best wind users in Suna. So you will teach him. Temari sighed. Okay, she uttered in defeat, causing Naruto to giggle. Gaara said, confusing Naruto, besides, he has to learn how to fight all over again. He can't go into battle with any of his jutsu. Huh? Why? Inquired Naruto. Because if anyone sees you using your clones, Rasengan, summoning jutsu, or anything else you know, then word will spread and you will have Anbu and assassins after you, Gaara said with a nod. With a half-hearted smile, Naruto answered, yeah, that's a good reason, then turned to face Temari. So when do we start, Temari-sensei? He asked. Temari stated, tomorrow morning, we will use the Cage training grounds since you will be moving out of the hospital and living with us in our house. Naruto nodded in agreement. Gaara, Kankuro, and Temari nodded as Naruto said, okay, thanks guys. I appreciate it. Let's get you home, kid, Kankuro remarked as he and Temari left, leaving Gaara by herself with Naruto. As Gaara started to tackle his latest formidable foe, paperwork, he thought to himself, let's see how this plays out. Alongside Jiraiya. A toad asked, Lord Jiraiya, we haven't heard from you in a while. Are you okay? As Jiraiya was eating dinner in the woods. Jiraiya shook his head. Jiraiya sobbed, no, I'm not. My apprentice Naruto is dead. I failed his parents in my job as a godparent and I. He started, but was cut off. He isn't dead, said the toad. If he was dead then a red X would appear on the over his name in the scroll. But it hasn't happened yet, he replied. Jiraiya, wide-eyed, pulled out the scroll containing the toad contract and peered inside. Naruto's name was still there, uncrossed. After shutting the scroll, Jiraiya got up and exclaimed, holy shit, referring to the toad's survival. He did not believe what he had just learned. After packing up his camp, Jiraiya grabbed the toad and started running to the next town. If he's alive, I have to find him, Jiraiya thought to himself. I failed him once. I won't fail him again. Jiraiya launched himself into a new mission, running at full speed. In search of Naruto Uzumaki. Wave Nation. Alongside Jiraiya. Jiraiya asked Tazuna, the bridge builder, who was seated with his daughter Tsunami and grandson Inari, so he hasn't come through here. Tazuna, removing his cigarette from his mouth, said, no, we haven't seen Naruto since him and his team left after the mission was over. Damn shame. He saves a country, saves his village, kills a traitor, and gets fucked over. Tsunami, holding her heart, sighed, poor Naruto. He was such a sweet boy. He deserved so much better. I'm sure he's still out there, Inari replied. Naruto doesn't die easily. He's probably hiding at a farm or something. You know, starting a new life, he replied. I just need to know if he's good for him, Jiraiya remarked, standing back up. Thanks for your help. I'm going north to check Kiri next, Jiraiya responded. Please keep everything to yourselves and Tazuna, Jiraiya responded. Yes, tell me, Tazuna said. In 1 year, the alliance with Konoha expires. Don't renew it, Jiraiya responded. Konoha has been going downhill the last month or so since the incident. I don't want it to drag down Wave 2, he said with a nod. It's okay, Tazuna said, giving Jiraiya a shake of his hand. Find Naruto and make sure he's okay. If not, you should bring him here. I can get him a job and a house. Jiraiya nodded. Okay, now time to check Kiri. It's a war zone, maybe Naruto went there and started working as a mercenary, Jiraiya thought to himself as he continued walking. Thanks folks, until we meet again, he said as he started his journey once more. In Suna. Alongside Temari and Naruto. Naruto yelled, wind style, gale palm, and unleashed a wall of wind that split the training post in several places. Then, taking a deep breath, Naruto nodded satisfaction and asked, how was that, Temari-sensei? As he looked at Temari, who flushed. Temari is fine. And you did good, Temari said shyly, and Naruto nodded slightly. You don't have to call me that Naruto, Temari said. After a month of training, Temari was taken aback by Naruto's development. Because of his terrible chakra control, the first 2 weeks of training were spent on teaching him how to use his chakra to cut leaves. They studied how to cut pebbles with chakra the following week, and their old sensei Baki taught them taijutsu last week. Naruto is still recovering from his ordeal, but not entirely. The happy Naruto of before has vanished. Now that he was masking his pain with fake smiles and keeping himself occupied all the time, Naruto was probably suffering from depression, for which he could hardly be held responsible by the doctors. While Gaara is preoccupied with her role as Cage, Temari and Kankuro have been spending the most time with Naruto. They have made him feel less alone, but they can also sense that he is still in pain on the inside. So, what now, Temari-sensei? Naruto asked, trying to sound excited. Temari then threw a tiny fan at Naruto, who managed to catch it out of her waistband. I'm going to teach you how to use your new wind chakra through a fan, Temari said with a grin. While wind-style jutsu is common here in Suna, not many people know how to use a battle fan. In fact, other than me there's probably about 20 or so other users in the whole village, she continued. With real excitement, Naruto asked, so how do I do it? Temari was relieved that a little more of the previous Naruto was now showing. Temari said, okay, watch me okay, setting down her big battle fan and pulling out a smaller one. She then took a position next to Naruto. After that, Temari swung the little fan behind her back and unleashed a tiny wind blade at a different training post while channeling wind chakra through it. Wow, and that was with a little fan too, Naruto exclaimed, shocked, as the wind blade struck the post and left a gash 6 inches deep in the wooden post. Temari laughed and closed her fan. Once you master the small fan, it will make using the bigger fans a lot easier, Temari stated. Now you give it a try, said Temari. With a nod, Naruto moved to stand in front of Temari. He then assumed Temari's stance and pushed his chakra through his fan. Then, Naruto swung his fan and let out a blade of wind, but it missed the training post by a few feet to the left. Then, with a drop of perspiration, Naruto rubbed the back of his head and said, shyly, whoops, I missed. Naruto nodded as Temari laughed and said, "It's okay, it takes a lot of practice and you have to get the release right." Temari then offered to help. Then, as Temari followed through on his words, "You got to both move your arm and your body at the same time. The power not only comes from the chakra but also the speed of your fan." She moved to stand directly behind Naruto and grabbed his arm with one hand and his other arm with the other. Temari?" asked Naruto, who finally let go of the sensei. Temari pricked up. "Yes," Temari replied as she carried on performing the routine with him. Not that I don't like you teaching," Naruto responded, "but your boobies are pressing against the back of my head," he exclaimed. Then, Temari became very startled as she looked down and realized she was practically standing next to a blushing Naruto. Then, Temari jumped back, blushing. "Why didn't you tell me before, jerk?" Temari yelled, and Naruto turned around, his face flushed. Naruto angrily yelled back, "How is this my fault? It's your fault for pushing your boobies against the back of my head." While Temari yelled, "Stop saying boobies you idiot," Naruto stuck out his tongue. Gaara and Kankuro were watching the argument between Naruto and Temari from the roof of a nearby building. "They're a lot alike," Kankuro stated, "both blonde, loud and headstrong. They seem like two peas in a pod," according to him. "Temari has been bringing back the old Naruto little by little," Gaara stated. "It will take time for him to heal, but for now it seems like he's making good progress." He stated that he was recovering. "I hope that training with you will help him along as well," said Gaara. Kankuro said, "He might not be able to use puppets, but I have a plan on how to train him." Gaara nodded and vanished into a whirlpool of sand. Then, as Naruto and Temari stopped fighting and resumed their training, Kankuro turned to face them. Sakura and Kakashi in Konoha. As Kakashi-sensei stood by and remarked, "That's why it keeps on focusing," Sakura Haruno was focusing chakra into her hand. Sakura growled at this. At that moment, Kakashi noticed that a thin layer of lightning had formed around her hand and that light chirping was starting to reverberate. Sakura attempted to raise the output, but was unable to do so. Sakura started running toward the training post at full speed after Kakashi said, "Okay, go aim for the training post." Sakura then leapt, using the momentum to come down. With only her hand going in 4 inches, Sakura drove the jutsu into the wooden training post, yelling, "Chidori," as she did so. "Damn it," Sakura uttered as she withdrew her hand, adding, "Sasuke could punch through a water tower and Naruto could blow it out from the other side." Kakashi then interrupted. "It's not bad, Sakura," Kakashi said as he stepped forward. "You are doing it on sheer grit and determination. The Chidori is not an easy technique to learn. It took Sasuke a month to learn it. And he had both a bloodline and immense chakra reserves." Kakashi smiled. "Ninjutsu training with you, Genjutsu training with Kurenai-sensei, and medical training with Lady Tsunade and Shizune. It's exhausting," Sakura sighed as she collapsed onto her butt. Inquiringly, Kakashi said, "How long do you sleep?" 4 hours every night," Sakura stated incredulously. "I've never put in a lot of effort in my training. With how I was in Wave, the Chunin exams, the invasion and Sasuke leaving, I realized how much of a joke I was," she stated. "I have to. For Naruto," Sakura remarked, getting back up. "I'm going to bust my ass trying to be the best I can," Kakashi grinned. "I think Sakura has had enough for today," Kakashi said. "Let's go grab something to eat." Sakura nodded, and they both departed the training area. Streets in Konoha. After entering Ichiraku Ramen and taking a seat, Sakura said, "Hey Ayame, hey Mr. Tucci," and the father and daughter turned. Ayame said, "Hey Sakura, Kakashi. Do you two want the usual?" And they both gave a nod. Tucci nodded as Kakashi said, "Yep. 2 Naruto specials." Sakura and Kakashi have been frequenting Ichiraku's more since Naruto's death, Satuchi said, "Gotcha, give me 10 minutes, as he started to prepare the food. At his favorite restaurant, they feel more connected to Naruto, they're not sure why. A voice said, "Hello Sakura," and when Sakura turned around, she saw Ino there, frowning. Since Naruto's death, Ino has been antagonistic toward everyone who enjoyed Naruto. However, she changed when she joined a newly established shinobi branch. She had given up on her girly, purple clothes, and the black Anbu uniform that brought back terrible memories for Kakashi. Sakura scowled and yelled, "Fuck off Ino." I told you I don't want anything to do with you or Shikamaru. Sakura, you are living in the past. It's better if you leave it behind and that blonde retard you call A. Ino started, but Kakashi got up and pressed her against a wall, holding her by the throat. He yelled, "Get the fuck out of my sight," and Ino turned to leave, frowning. "If you keep spouting that crap, I'll kill you." "Got it," he said angrily. Ino nodded. Resuming his seat, Kakashi turned to face the dumbfounded Ayame and Tucci. "I apologize for that," he said, and both the father and the daughter nodded. After that, Tucci placed the food in front of Sakura and Kakashi. Kakashi took off his mask and started eating, attempting to put the previous events behind him. Kakashi turned to see Sakura in a state of shock. "Sakura, are you okay? Why aren't you eating?" he asked, and Sakura gestured to him. Sakura exclaimed, "No mask," and Kakashi realized he had erred. "I can see you." "Your face," Sakura said, looking amazed. "Oh no, I forgot to put on the genjutsu," groaned Kakashi. "Sensei," Sakura said, her eyes still wide. "I had no idea you were hot. I thought you had buck teeth or blimp lips," Sakura continued, causing Kakashi to start perspiring. Kakashi said, "Gee thanks," as he carried on devouring his meal. In Suna, alongside Naruto and Kankuro. After completing the gauntlet on his right arm and tightening the strap, Naruto asked, "Okay, it's on. Now what?" Kankuro grinned in response. Naruto nodded as Kankuro said, "Now you are going to pump a little chakra into it." Naruto then pumped chakra into the gauntlet. Then, a 10-inch blade emerged from the gauntlet, causing Naruto to stagger back. Much to Kankuro's amusement, Naruto yelled, "Holy shit. How did that happen?" he inquired. "That gauntlet is something I made from spare puppet parts," Kankuro stated. "It uses chakra-powered spring mechanisms to launch the blade out. You can still do it manually if you have no chakra," said Kankuro. The blade then reappeared after Naruto released his chakra. Naruto remarked, "That's pretty sweet," at which point Kankuro appeared with a puppet. "Alright, let's see what you got for some sparring," Kankuro said. "Are you ready?" Naruto nodded before drawing his blade. Naruto grinned and said, "Let's go." Kankuro then threw his puppet, Crow, in Naruto's direction. After dodging the puppet, Naruto started to swing his blade in an attempt to cut the chakra strings that were attached to it. The puppet's extending arms then struck Naruto across the face, but he wasn't even slightly fazed. Instead, he bounced back to get more distance. Then, with his lil fan out and in his left hand, Naruto released a blade of wind after charging it. When Kankuro realized this, he smirked and hurried the crow away. Resuming his attack, Kankuro thought to himself, impressive. Using combined arms to fight. He sent a crow at Naruto once more. After waiting for the crow to come into range, Naruto leapt over it and swung his blade while spinning in midair. After cutting the chakra strings, which caused the puppet to fall to the ground, Naruto ran over to Kankuro and put his weapons away. After clenching his fists into a boxing stance, Kankuro punched Naruto multiple times as the latter dodged and swerved. After that, Naruto struck back, first with an uppercut to the jaw and then with a punch to the gut. When Kankuro fell to his butt, Naruto was there to catch him, his fist hovering just an inch from his face. Naruto said, "You yield," and Kankuro nodded. "I give," Kankuro said, and Naruto helped him stand again. "Nice job, kid," Naruto grinned. Naruto thanked Kankuro and rubbed the back of his head. Suddenly, his stomach rumbled, and he laughed. "Hey, want to go eat something?" Naruto asked. Kankuro said, "Sure, chicken teriyaki," and Naruto nodded. "That sounds good," Naruto remarked. Kankuro then sealed up his puppet once more, and Naruto covered his identity by donning a henge. The two boys left the training area to head to lunch. Later on in the evening, Temari heard someone crying as she was making her way back to her room after getting out of bed to get a drink of water. After listening and tracking the sound, she discovered that it was coming from Naruto's room. When Temari opened the door, she discovered Naruto sobbing in his sleep while lying in bed. She hurried over to put her drink on the nightstand next to the bed. Temari shook the boy and said, "Naruto? Wake up." When Naruto woke up in fear, Temari held her hands up and comforted him, saying, "It's okay, it's me, Temari." Naruto sniffled and said, "Oh, hey Temari," wiping away his tears. "What are you doing here?" he asked. "What's wrong?" "I heard you crying," Temari worriedly inquired. Naruto stammered, I then said, "I've been having nightmares. It's different every night. Me killing Sasuke, Zabuza killing my team, fighting Orochimaru and Kabuto, all my old friends wanting to kill me," Naruto murmured. "I can't get them out of my head. They've been happening ever since I came here, they won't stop," he stated. "The ones where my old friends are trying to kill me are the worst," he stated. Temari started to feel terrible for the boy because, in contrast to Gaara, he had people who loved him. His feelings toward them must have been terrible. Temari sat down next to Naruto and whispered, "Naruto, not everyone hates you. Me and my brothers, we all care about you." Naruto nodded. "And back in Konoha you had people who cared even after what happened," she continued. "Sakura, your sensei, the Hokage, that Hyuga girl, the two weirdos in spandex with the thick eyebrows. They all never blamed you for what happened," she said with a chuckle. Naruto shook his head and said, "Lee and Guy sensei. No surprise there. Those two are too youthful to turn on someone blindly." Temari laughed. "You can go back to bed now," he said. "Thanks, Temari." "I appreciate it," to which Temari shook her head. Temari said, "No. Move over." Naruto hesitated before complying. After that, Temari and Naruto crawled into bed together. Temari held Naruto close, his head resting on her shoulder, as she put her arm around him. Temari started stroking his hair as Naruto asked, perplexed, "What are you doing, Temari?" "Why?" she asked, her voice soft. "My mother used to do this to me and Kankuro whenever we had nightmares," he remarked. "I've never been held like this before," which caused Temari to scowl. Temari assured Naruto, "Don't worry. I'll do this until those nightmares stop happening." Naruto embraced Temari and said, "Thank you," as Temari continued to stroke his hair until he dozed off. Temari had a little smile on her face as she looked down at the boy who was snoring. Temari thought, "He looks so cute," closed her eyes and dozed off. The following morning, standing in front of Gaara, who was sitting with a scroll in front of them, were Naruto, Temari, and Kankuro in the cage office. Gaara was staring at Naruto at the moment. During the previous month, he had switched to desert attire instead of his orange jumpsuit. Wearing light tan pants, a light brown shirt, a dark brown jacket, and black sandals, Naruto concealed his identity in public by wearing a black and orange shemagh, face covering, around his neck. However, he removed it when he was around Gaara, Kankuro, Temari, and Baki. He also wore his new Suna headband around his forehead. Gaara said, "Naruto, Kankuro, I called you here because I have a mission for the two of you," and both of them appeared shocked. "Oh, just the two of us?" inquired Kankuro. "Usually a full team gets sent out," replied Kankuro, and Gaara gave a nod. "Yeah, but we just need the two of you for this mission, a B. rank assassination mission," Gaara said, passing Kankuro a scroll. When they had finished reading it, Kankuro and Naruto both appeared perplexed. Naruto said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And Gaara gave a nod. "Yes, it's very serious," Gaara stated, causing Temari to appear perplexed. She asked, "What's wrong with the mission?" And Naruto gave her a strange look. Temari's eyes widened as Naruto stated, "Some daimyo's wife is being plowed by some dude and he want him dead." "Really, it's completely beneath us to be on a mission like that," she said, causing Gaara to sigh. "We took a lot of casualties due to the invasion of Konoha," Gaara stated. "We must take any mission that gives us an opportunity to make money. I literally gave a Genin team a mission to help out old people in a nursing home in a neighboring country," he stated. Temari glanced at Naruto as he shivered and remarked, "Oh god, I hated those missions. Old people suck." "Oh, come on, taking care of old people can't be that bad," Temari replied. Retrospective. Naruto smiled and said, "There you go. I hope you have a good sleep tonight," as he assisted an elderly blind man back into his bed. Naruto's eyes widened as he said, "See Naruto, this is why I like you. You're such a well mannered, good natured, white boy. He remarked, unlike those monkeys from Kumo. No, Naruto mutely replied. I can't stand those mud possums and tar donkeys, Naruto muttered as he quietly exited the room. After that, Naruto made a self-promise to never again work with elderly people. The flashback concludes. With all three of the Sand siblings staring at him with wide eyes, Naruto remarked, and the racism wasn't even the worst part. Did you know how many old people we had to treat for STDs? I swear, old people are gross, he said, causing her to tremble. God, Temari exclaimed. Regaining focus, Gaara remarked, anyway, you have your mission. Just kill him and get it over with. Naruto and Kankuro nodded and left. After a few hours. After thinking to himself, okay, banging another dude's wife is wrong, but it's not something to kill someone over, Naruto and Kankuro departed Suna to complete their mission. He reasoned, there has to be another way. If I do kill him, I can't live with myself. To begin their mission, Naruto and Kankuro trekked across the desert town bordering the land of rivers. When Renji took out his keys and placed them in his home's lock, he cracked his neck. He then turned the key to unlock the door and went inside the tiny house. After putting his keys in a dish by the door and heading to his room, Renji pulled out a joint, struck up a match, and started to smoke. Despite not being as attractive as he once was, Renji, who was in his mid-40s, still had a respectable build for his age. He noticed a window was slightly open as he was walking through the house, so he went over to close and lock it. After that, Renji went to his bedroom and was ready to turn in when he heard someone speaking. A voice said, "Hey, Renji, right?" Renji turned to see a person dressed in black pants, a gray hoodie, an orange ski mask, and sunglasses. Based on their height, he estimated the person's age to be between 13 and 16. Renji nodded to the figure, who sighed with relief. Okay, this is going to be awkward if it weren't for you, the figure said. Okay, so here's the thing. I was hired to kill you, but I'm not going to do that. The figure uttered. The intruder asked, do you have any family out of country? As Renji, high on his joint, listened dumbly. Renji said, a sister in Kusa, and the intruder nodded. All right, he said, but here's the thing. I need you to vanish for about a year. Renji nodded. You may see us argue about why you are still alive. I got it totally covered, no need to worry, he said, his smile only visible through the hole in his ski mask. I have my partner outside in a wagon. We will drive you over to the train station, he continued. He nodded to Renji, who then started to move toward a door on the other side of the room. Okay dude, let's go pack some stuff, he said. He pulled it open and entered. The intruder trailed him into the room and was astounded to see the abundance of trophies and awards on the shelves. Karate, judo, jujitsu, kendo, and even a lightweight sumo trophy were among the possessions. The intruder inquired, hey, whose trophies are these? Renji raised his hand and proceeded to retrieve multiple duffel bags from his closet. Oh, that's cool, the intruder replied. I don't have any trophies myself, but when I was a little kid, I used to hang out at this old boxing gym down the street from the orphanage I grew up at, he replied. The old dude there taught me basic boxing, grappling and other things like that. Nothing that will win awards but something to help me defend myself, he stated. After gathering his belongings, Renji headed back to his room to start packing again. The trespasser noticed a picture of Renji holding a second place trophy and a familiar spandex wearing Jonin with bushy eyebrows that made him appear 20 years younger. The intruder said, hey guys sensei. What do you know? And thought, small world, setting down the picture and turning to face Renji again. As Renji packed, the intruder remarked, so, Kusa. Never been there before? I've been to Wave, Snow, and Waterfall, he added. He laughed and said, yeah, they were all pretty cool. Except for all the times me or my friends almost got killed. During Wave Eye, the intruder started out before Renji kicked him in the chest and sent him flying into a door. Renji came over and gave him a light leg kick to see if he was still awake after the intruder struck the door, breaking it in half and striking his head against the wall. Then Renji crossed the bedroom to the other side and got the landline, dialing the police numbers while holding the phone to his ear. Renji said, hello, at which point the intruder stood back up and took the phone from Renji's grasp. Renji struck the attacker in the face in retaliation. The attacker then took hold of the arm that had just been struck by Renji and pulled him to the ground, kneeing him in the stomach and pressing an elbow into his collarbone. Breathing heavily, both fighters retreated, trying to collect themselves before Renji delivered a quick round kick that struck the intruders in the ribs. The intruder grabbed his leg and held him after he kicked him in the face with the same leg. To break free from the hold, Renji started to punch and elbow the intruder. The intruder yelled, "Fuck you," and then punched Renji in the throat, causing him to stumble backward and start gasping for air. The intruder asked, "You ready to stop now?" Renji got back up, "Oh shit," and then he was tackled by Renji and fell backward into a cabinet. Renji then gave the intruder a knee to the ribs and tried to punch him in the face, but his fist got trapped. After giving Renji a gut punch and slamming him across the jaw, the intruder went down and grabbed him by the waist. After giving the intruder a violent shove to the floor, which cracked the tiles and caused him to cough up blood, Renji started to leave the room for his trophy room while gasping for breath. The intruder slowly stood back up, complaining, "OWWW my neck," and entered the trophy room where he saw Renji standing there brandishing a pair of none. "Chucks," he said, "Renji look dude, you're stoned, and your throat is fucked. Just stop, man. There's nothing you've done that I can't forgive." He was bleeding profusely from his ski mask. The intruder avoided Renji's first nun chuck swing, but not the second, which struck him in the knee. Renji then charged at him and swung the nun chuck at him. After the intruder collapsed to the ground, Renji viciously struck him with both nun chucks for a few seconds until he stopped. Renji then collapsed, gasping for air. After taking several labored breaths, he became motionless and eventually stopped breathing altogether. The intruder then slowly rose from the ground and turned to face Renji. Then, the intruder removed his mask to reveal Naruto Uzumaki, who was bleeding and had a swollen face from the fight. "Holy shit," he uttered through a broken lip. Then, with his mouth covered in blood, Naruto went over to feel for a pulse but couldn't find one. "I gave you a chance, dude. Don't blame me," he said, turning to walk to the front of the house. He heard the front door click shut as he approached it, and a small 8-year-old girl wearing a yellow belt and karate gi stared fearfully at Naruto. "Dad," she said, trembling. "Oh fuck," thought Naruto. She yelled, "Daddy," as she hurried past Naruto to the bedroom. He was about to leave the house but restrained himself. Naruto thought to himself, "I can't just leave her," and he started to return to the bedroom, calling the little girl inside with a soft voice. He started, "I'm not going to hurt you. But before he could look around and see her, "Where did you?" Something fell on his back. The young girl, who had been hiding on the ceiling, leapt onto his back and used the sai her father had won at a tournament to stab Naruto in the back. Naruto yelled, "Gosh shit," as he grabbed the girl from behind and hurled her against a wall. He then quickly removed the sai and threw it to the ground. The girl kicked Naruto across the face after twisting in midair and landing on the wall with her feet. She then leapt off the wall and returned to him. After getting kicked, Naruto saw stars. The young girl left the room, and Naruto trailed behind. Naruto was struck in the head by a soup can that the young girl picked up as soon as he entered the kitchen area. The girl then began throwing various objects at him, which he had to dodge. The girl took everything, including butcher knives, canned goods, and a meat cleaver, and ran toward Naruto while holding a cast iron skillet. As soon as the young girl attempted to strike Naruto, he began to dodge her violent swings. "Fuck this," Naruto yelled as he grabbed the skillet and took the girl's weapon, slapping her across the face and telling her to stop. When the young child started to cry, Naruto realized what he had just done. He had struck a child who was attempting to harm him because he had killed her father. Before Naruto could take further action, the young girl kicked him in the nuts and fled out the back door. Watching in agony as she leapt over the house's back fence and disappeared from view, Naruto exclaimed, "What the fuck?" After returning home, Naruto grabbed the ski mask and left through the front door. Surprisingly, no one had heard the disturbance coming from the house as he crossed the suburban neighborhood. Kankuro was seated in the wagon they were using for the mission. They were not to disclose their ninja status to anyone in case they were detected, so they were not allowed to use chakra or other ninja weapons. Since police officers were trained to detect chakra presence at crime scenes, both of them even had chakra seals applied to them. In an effort to blend in, Kankuro wore only jeans and a green hoodie instead of his suit or face paint. He turned to face the side and saw Naruto, who had been severely beaten, approaching the wagon. Kankuro unlocked the door and let him in. Naruto sank into the passenger seat as Kankuro questioned, "Holy shit Naruto, what happened?" "The client should have told us he was a martial arts master," Naruto murmured. "He kicked my ass pretty bad. If I had chakra I could have done better. I bet even a Chunin-level ninja would have taken a beating as well," he replied. His words were met with a, "Damn, one guy did this to you," sway from Naruto. "No," he responded, his daughter also managed to get some good hits in, causing Kankuro to widen his eyes. He asked, "Did she see your face?" Naruto nodded, then yelled, "Fuck." He said, "We have to kill her now," which caused Naruto to widen his eyes. "No, no, no, no," Naruto replied. "I already killed some asshole for plowing another guy's wife. I'm not sure, but Kami is probably not looking too kindly on that. Although it was mostly self-defense," he replied. "We are not killing his daughter," said Naruto. "Let's patch me up, find her, drug her and dump her at the police station," said Naruto. Kankuro let out a grunt. He hit the reins and the horses started pulling the wagon, saying, "Fuck. Fine." At that point, Naruto leaned back and went dark. The mindscape of Naruto. Foolish mortal. Showing compassion to the enemy is how you get killed, the 9-tailed fox mockingly gazed down at his unconscious vessel. "I can still heal you. But what would be the point if you don't learn your lesson?" it laughed. Naruto was dreaming while still lying on his mindscape's floor. Naruto, Gaara, and Kankuro were chatting away at the breakfast table when someone walked up next to them. Temari grinned and said, "Okay you three, it's time for breakfast. No bitching or moaning." Naruto started to laugh. Temari laughed as Naruto said, "Thanks, Temari. I don't care what your brothers say. You really are caring and girly." Temari yelled, "Thanks Naruto." "Hey." To Gaara and Kankuro. "What do you mean? I'm girly. I'm no Mary Poppins, but I'm still a girl you asshats," Temari exclaimed. Naruto started to laugh as Temari started to scold her two brothers. Naruto huffed and said, "Calm down, Temari. They didn't mean anything by it." She then bent down and planted a kiss on his cheek, causing him to blush. She said, "You are lucky. You are special to me," and Naruto laughed. "You're special to me too, Temari," Naruto replied, "and so are Gaara and Kankuro." "Don't any of you forget that," he replied. And so the four of them sat down to start breakfast. In actuality, Kankuro shook Naruto awake, telling him to wake up. When he did, Naruto saw they were at a grocery store. "I'm going in for stuff. What do you need again?" he asked, to which Naruto responded with a look that suggested he was a moron. "A thread and a needle," Naruto exclaimed. "Oh, I apologize," an embarrassed Kankuro said. "For sutures," Naruto exclaimed. "Too bad," Kankuro replied. Naruto yelled, "Because I'm dying," and Kankuro nodded. "Okay, I'll be right back," Kankuro yelled as he hurried into the shop. Naruto sighed and leaned back, thinking, "Fuck this mission." After a short while, Kankuro returned with a needle, thread, superglue, peroxide, and a bandage for Naruto. Both Naruto and Kankuro quickly made a hurried repair and set out to find the young girl. At evening, while driving the wagon around the town in an attempt to find the young girl, Naruto and Kankuro both said, "We haven't found shit." Naruto spoke feebly as he adjusted his seat and felt his stitches tear. Naruto exclaimed, "Oh, crap, that hurts," and Kankuro turned him around by stopping the wagon. Naruto winced at the pain as Kankuro applied more glue and massaged it in with his hand. After taking back the reins and bandaging the wound, Kankuro said, "Here, let me apply another helping of glue." Kankuro started, "Okay, now we got to," but then there was a thud on the covered wagon's roof. The two boys exchanged glances, and Naruto yelled, "It's her," which made Kankuro feel afraid. Then, Kankuro accelerated the wagon's speed down the road before stopping it with the brake lever a short while later. The fear was causing both boys to breathe heavily. "Well, it appears that it wasn't her," Naruto said, turning to face the wide eyed Kankuro. Naruto, you. Kankuro started, but then the young girl descended from the roof and bit him in the face. She was breathing fiercely and violently as she held on, and Kankuro yelled, "Naruto, kill her," to which Naruto turned to look at him. Naruto said, "Just take her off," and Kankuro began to perspire. Naruto turned to face Kankuro in disbelief. "I can't. The glue was on my hands and now I can't take them off the reins. So man the fuck up and murder this little shit," Kankuro uttered. At that moment, the young girl ripped a chunk of skin off Kankuro's cheek and leapt off the wagon, causing Kankuro to scream in agony while Naruto let out a horrified cry. Before vanishing into the night, the young girl with a mouth full of blood gave the two boys a spine. Tingling, feral scream. Kankuro started to shake and yelled, "What the fuck are you?" As the two boys turned to face the feral girl who was quickly vanishing. Returning to the supermarket. "Fucking go. I don't want to be stuck here all night," Kankuro said as he stopped the wagon, and Naruto nodded. Naruto hurried into the store, saying, "Okay, be right back." He threw up his hood to avoid being noticed as he entered. Swiftly heading to the medicine aisle, Naruto started searching for medical supplies and a way to take off Kankuro's glue. Naruto turned to face Renji, who was wearing a neck brace, as he heard wheezing coming from the far end of the island. With wide eyes, Naruto said, "Renji." He then muttered, "Hey man, I was the guy in your house." Naruto started, "Listen, dude, we got off on the wrong foot so let's—" Renji tried to kick him, but Naruto dodged in time. "Renji, stop. We can still make a deal. Come on dude, are you going to fight me in a store?" Renji tried to punch Naruto. "Hey guys, please don't fight in the store," the grocery clerk said as he approached. Renji then kicked the man in the head, breaking his neck and killing him. Then, with rage and anger in his eyes, Renji charged at Naruto. "OSH*T, uttered Naruto. As he watched dozens of people run out of the grocery store while he was sitting outside, Kankuro exclaimed, "What the hell?" As he peered inside. Kankuro yelled, "Naruto you fucking idiot," as he witnessed Naruto and the target fighting each other with meat cleavers that they had stolen from the butcher shop. Renji delivered another blow, but Naruto sidestepped it and returned fire with a slash of his own, which Renji blocked with his cleaver and they locked together. After that, Renji kicked Naruto and tore off both of his cleavers. When Naruto saw this, he leapt back over the butcher counter and retrieved a meat hook and a butcher knife. Then, Naruto leapt back over the counter and got back in the fight. He slashed at Renji with the butcher knife, and Renji quickly sidestepped. Naruto winced as his blood spilled onto the floor as Renji struck him in the ribs with both cleavers. After Renji slashed again with the other cleaver, Naruto caught it with his meat hook, taking away Renji's weapon and moving it. After forcing Renji to gag on his own blood by driving a butcher knife into his neck, Naruto took a meat cleaver and ran it through Renji's temple. After Renji collapsed to the ground lifeless, Naruto hurried back to the butcher counter, snatched up another knife, and dashed out. Running to the wagon, Naruto cut the reins from Kankuro's hands and opened his door. "Leave the wagon." "Let's go," Naruto said, and Kankuro nodded. When the cops got there, both boys ran out of the area. After 16 hours, Suna. Temari was getting ready for bed as usual when she noticed Naruto was beaten and covered in blood as she left her room to take a shower. Temari said, "N. Naruto, sounding worried. W. What?" She stammered out. Through swollen lips, Naruto declared, "The mission is done. Kankuro's with Gaara. I went to the hospital and I want to take a shower." Temari nodded, and Naruto went into the restroom. When Naruto emerged 15 minutes later, with multiple yells of agony, Temari was still standing there. Temari shook her head and he said, "Your turn." She said, "I'm good. I'll take one in the morning," and Naruto gave her a nod. Weakly, Naruto said, "Temari, may I ask you something?" And the girl gave him a sidelong glance. "Yes, Naruto," Temari mutely replied. With his eyes half closed, he asked, "Can I sleep with you tonight?" "I haven't slept in 2 days," to which Temari nodded. "Okay, that's okay," she said, taking his hand and guiding him to her room, where Naruto noticed Temari's room was extremely girly. Everything about it, including her large bed piled with plush toys, the pink walls, and her boyband posters. Naruto said, I knew Kankuro and Gaara were full of shit, and Temari blushed. You are really girly, he added with a tiny laugh. Temari said, don't make fun of me, and Naruto nodded. I wasn't, Naruto remarked. I'm just glad I get to see your softer side. Temari, unsure of how to react, turned to face him. Temari yelled, come on, as she pulled Naruto to her bed and unfolded the covers for him. Temari then jumped in after Naruto. Without warning, Naruto seized her and embraced her, whispering, don't let me go. Temari pulled Naruto in closer as she put her arms around him and whispered, I won't, Naruto. Temari's eyes widened at this, and before she could ask what he meant, Naruto fell asleep. Thanks, Temari, he said before planting a kiss on her cheek, causing her to blush. You are really precious to me. Don't forget it, Naruto added. Temari thought, I'm precious to him, but she brushed it aside and shut her eyes. I'll ask him what he meant later, she decided. Temari and Naruto both dozed off in each other's arms, finding solace in each other's companionship. In the interim, border town of Land of Rivers, the following day. After passing through a checkpoint and seeing all the closed down stores, Jiraiya entered the border town to find it under lockdown. What the hell happened here? He thought to himself as he strolled down the empty street. He was just stopping by on his way to Iwa to see how an informant was doing. If he went that way, he might know something about Naruto. He came upon a wanted poster while out and about and read it. 2 unidentified fugitives who killed Renji Oda are wanted. Last seen driving a stolen wagon to the K's no Kuni. Thought to be armed and very dangerous. Suspect 1. Aged between 14 and 18. Brown hair and heights. Height of 165 to 167 centimeters. Last seen robbing a wagon and a group of horses and driving to K's no Kuni. Nothing stand out. Suspect 2. 12 to 15 years old, blonde hair, blue eyes, height 145 to 147 centimeters. Last seen fleeing to K's no Kuni with suspect 1. Suspected of killing Renji Oda. Possesses multiple horizontal face tattoos. While Jiraiya was examining the crude drawings of the 2 suspects, suspect number 1 didn't resemble anyone he knew, while suspect number 2 resembled Naruto. Too many red flags were raising in Jiraiya's mind for this to be a coincidence, so she pocketed the poster and looked around. This news is going to be isolated, he thought to himself as he changed directions and started walking again. Land of Rivers has no ties to Konoha and this town is so small it won't be big news anywhere. Naruto, what the devil have you gotten into? Was his thought as he started to sprint out of the town toward Suna. At last he had a good lead. In the Cage mansion are Temari, Kankuro, and Gaara. The 3 Sand siblings were sitting at the dining room table when they noticed something unexpected. Naruto Uzumaki was cooking breakfast while singing and sporting a smile on his swollen, bandaged face. Slipknot owns this song. I do not. And we'll all die from the rain. Press up against the wall. However, nobody else is able to see. The martyr within me being preserved. Psychosocial, that is, extremely psychosocial. Psychosocial, that is, extremely psychosocial. Temari said, Naruto, as the 3 siblings stared at him in confusion. Are you okay? She asked softly. With a broad, eerie smile, Naruto turned to face Temari. Of course, Temari, he said, sending shivers down her spine. I'm fine, everything is fine. I appreciate your concern, Temari responded with an awkward smile and a nod. Then she looked up at her brothers. Okay, what the hell? Temari muttered. He was folding my clothes that I put in the dryer last night when I woke up this morning. Then he asked me if I wanted a foot massage, she said, and Kankuro leaned in. Glancing at Naruto in the kitchen, Kankuro whispered, I think he's mental too. I think after all the crap he's been through over the past month and the mission we got back from has taken its toll on him. I think he's pretty close to the edge, said Kankuro, so he's trying to act like everything is normal, according to him. At that moment, the 3 siblings turned to face Naruto, who was putting the food on plates and escorting them over. As he placed the food plates in front of the 3 Sand siblings, Naruto said in a song voice, I hope you all like pancakes. The plates contained 2 pancakes with bacon for a smile, banana for a nose, and blueberry for eyes. Naruto continued to smile and said, I hope you all love it. I made it special. And I love you all. Temari patted Naruto's shoulder and smiled, saying, we love you too. As Naruto started to eat, Temari glanced at Gaara, who recognized the look right away. With her eyes, Temari yelled, fix him, damn it. With a look of his own, Gaara said, okay, I'll think of something. Wow, these are delicious pancakes, Kankuro remarked as he was finishing his meal, drawing glances from Temari and Gaara. What? I'm hungry, he responded, brushing the comment aside. Alongside Jiraiya. Jiraiya was walking through the desert towards Suna when he thought to himself, Naruto, you better be in Suna. I'd hate to have walked all this way to find your long lost brother. Wiping the perspiration from his brow, he walked on. It was then that he noticed Suna's stone walls. At last, Jiraiya exclaimed with a sense of relief, let's get some information now, and he started to head toward the front gates. In the cage office with Temari and Gaara. As he paced the office, Temari yelled, what the fuck were we thinking? Sending an emotionally damaged boy on an assassination mission? Gaara massaged his temples from behind his desk. Looking at it that way, I think I should have sent him on that mission to help the elderly, Gaara sighed, grabbing her attention. Well, it's too late now. We need to salvage him, Temari. I rather not have Naruto confined to the mansion 24/7. Or put him in a mental asylum, Gaara said. I just hope that Kankuro can keep him occupied while we try to figure out this mess, he replied. At that moment, the front desk buzzer activated. The front desk secretary said, Lord Cage, you have a distinguished visitor here to see you. Pushing the buzzer, Gaara said something. With a sigh, Gaara said, send him up. It's probably the daimyo here to pay for the mission. At least Naruto will have more cash in his pocket, Gaara remarked as Jiraiya entered through the open door. Lord Gaara, Jiraiya uttered, causing both Gaara and Temari to widen their eyes. I'm here for business regarding a specific matter. May we have a private conversation? He added, to which Gaara nodded. Following that, Jiraiya installed a privacy seal and went through hand signs. Okay, this is going to sound a little strange, so you need to hear me out, Jiraiya said, to which Temari and Gaara nodded. Excellent, what is it? Gaara inquired, her expression emotionless. Taking a deep breath, Jiraiya stated, I have reason to believe Naruto is in Suna. Temari and Gaara exchanged startled looks, and Jiraiya nodded. Temari pondered, how did he find out? Kankuro left no trace in Konoha. This is bad, Gaara thought to herself, I can't let him leave Suna. He might just. But Jiraiya interrupted. Temari and Gaara gave him a sidelong glance as Jiraiya stated, I think that Naruto is working with some kind of criminal organization. And has been hiring himself out as a hitman. Jiraiya nodded in response to Temari's perplexed, what, question? Yes, Jiraiya replied, I think Naruto killed a man on contract in a border village. He and his accomplice both fled and came here to Suna to hide. The two Sand siblings gave him a strange look. Is he a fool? Temari wondered. Now I know this is a mighty big pill to swallow, but it's true, Jiraiya responded. I need your help to find Naruto and stop him. He's a good kid and I don't need to see him go down this path, he stated, and Temari intervened. Temari questioned, and if he's here, what are you going to do? Are you going to take him back to Konoha? I heard they celebrated his death, she said without indicating to Jiraiya. I'm taking him to wave with me. He deserves a new life considering all the shit he's been through, Jiraiya said, causing their eyes to widen. This can definitely work, Jiraiya said, closing his book and glancing at Temari and Gaara. I have everything planned out, he said, pulling out his notepad. We both move to a house in Wave, we both become fishermen, I train Naruto to be able to protect himself, Naruto gets married to a local girl and has kids, I grow old and die and Naruto buries me and tells his grandkids about me. Temari and Gaara exchanged a look and nodded. Okay, we will help you, but there is a condition, Temari stated. You promise that nothing goes back to Konoha, Jiraiya nodded. With all honesty, Jiraiya declared, Konoha is dead to me. You got my word. Gaara sighed. Now when do you want to begin, Jiraiya said. With a straight face, Gaara said, okay, very well. Naruto is here in Suna. We took him from the hospital to save his life. He's living in our house. I sent him on the mission to kill that man, and Naruto is back at the house having a mental breakdown. For a brief moment, Jiraiya stood there, expressionless. Jiraiya yelled, "What?" almost causing Temari's eardrums to explode. He's been here the entire time? Can I see him? Jiraiya inquired, and Temari answered. I don't know, Temari replied, he's in pretty bad shape. That last mission really took a toll on him, she replied. I don't even know how to explain it now, Temari said, trailing off, before he had pretty bad depression and now. Jiraiya then started to pace. I'm not a psychiatrist. I can't just, Jiraiya started, pausing to glance at Gaara. Shit, I wasn't prepared for this. Jiraiya uttered, I have an idea. Gaara listened and said, what is it? Jiraiya said, it's twofold. Although I will need help from someone in Konoha, to Temari's squinting. Temari questioned, can we trust them? Jiraiya grinned. Jiraiya remarked, she's the only person I know that can do it. The Hokage Tower in Konoha. As Tsunade handed them their money, she remarked, good job, Sakura and Kakashi. Another mission completed. Your two are making stellar leaps. Kakashi grinned. Sakura grinned as Kakashi patted her shoulder and remarked, the more experience she gets, the better shinobi she will be. She's a lot stronger than she was a month ago. Sakura said, thank you, Kakashi-sensei, adding that it wasn't just for her. Kakashi nodded. Anyway, I'm just happy that, Tsunade started before a toad suddenly appeared in front of her. The toad handed Tsunade a scroll and said, Lady Tsunade. Emergency. Tsunade accepted it and started reading it. Then, with a serious expression on her face, Tsunade stood up. Jiraiya is fighting Orochimaru, she said, causing Sakura and Kakashi to look surprised. I'm going to help Jiraiya kill him, Tsunade added, taking off her top clothes and changing in front of Sakura, who was envious, and Kakashi, who was blushing. Tsunade started putting on her battle armor from her days as a Junin, saying, I swore I'd never wear this thing again, but I might need it. Tsunade yelled, Shizune, and Shizune hurried inside. Yes, Lady Tsunade. Tsunade approached Shizune and gave her a hug. Tsunade turned to face the toad in full battle armor and said, you are temporary Hokage, and if I die, then Kakashi will be named the next one. I love you all. Tsunade said, let's do this, grabbing onto the toad and calling it to her back. Sakura, Shizune, and Kakashi stood there in disbelief at what had just transpired. Balling up her fists, Sakura exclaimed, go get him, Lady Tsunade. He deserves it. He is responsible for all of this. Alongside Tsunade. Jiraiya. Where is? Tsunade asked as she landed, pausing briefly to look around and see Jiraiya sitting on a couch with Temari and Gaara sipping water. Good for you, Jiraiya said. Tsunade asked, where is Orochimaru? Jiraiya then spoke. Jiraiya said, that was a lie. Orochimaru is not here. We are in Suna, by the way, and Tsunade's expression turned in rage. Tsunade started to stomp forward, shaking the entire building. I thought you were dying, you fucking asshole, she yelled. You better have a good goddamn excuse for why you called me here, or I'll rip your fucking nuts off. Jiraiya raised his hands in protection. Tsunade paused when Jiraiya said, Naruto is alive and he's here in Suna. Tsunade softly questioned, what? Is this a joke? At which point Temari got up and approached. Temari said, we smuggled him out of Konoha. He's at our house. Tsunade started crying at that point. Tsunade said, take me to him, and Jiraiya winced. Jiraiya said, oh, that's why we called you here. Tsunade appeared perplexed, so Gaara spoke up. Gaara replied, I can explain. After 15 minutes. How can you be so stupid? Tsunade asked Gaara, you sent a mentally unstable shinobi on an assassination mission. He's only been gone a month. It should have taken months of therapy before he even goes on another combat mission. Tsunade was wearing civilian clothes now and was walking quickly to the mansion with a scowl on her face. Jiraiya started to perspire as Gaara said, I thought it would be good for him. How was I to know he'd get beaten half to death, stabbed by a little girl, and kill a man in a grocery store. Jiraiya remarked, when you put it like that, it sounds even worse than how it looks on the mission report. They were heading toward the mansion when they noticed Kankuro sprinting in their direction. Guys, what the fuck are they doing here? Kankuro yelled, gesturing to Tsunade and Jiraiya. Temari stated, they are here to help Naruto. Where is he? Kankuro gave himself a head rub in response. Kankuro answered, oh, that's why I was coming to get you. Alongside Naruto. As he sat on a rock in the courtyard, laughing, Naruto remarked to one of Kankuro's puppets, that's pretty funny, Kakashi-sensei. Naruto painted and put on a mask and fake hair to make one of Kankuro's puppets resemble Kakashi. Naruto looked at another puppet that he had dressed up as Sasuke and had a drawn on face. Oh man, that was a good story, he said, wiping his eye. Then, he turned and scowled. Can't you just smile once? Naruto asked, before taking a blow to the back of his head. You were always so moody, he said. Naruto was holding the hand that hit him and did not realize he was the one doing it. OWW Sakura, what was that for? Naruto exclaimed as he turned to face a third red-haired puppet. Jiraiya, Tsunade, Gaara, Temari, and Kankuro observed with dismay, anguish, and bewilderment. Jiraiya uttered, what the hell? And struggled to find the right words to say. I found him like this when I came back from using the bathroom, Kankuro stated. He's been talking to my puppets for over an hour now. I think he finally lost it, he stated. Attracting all of their attention, Tsunade declared, he's delusional. Reality is beating him down, so he's imagining that everything is perfect. To Naruto, all of this is real. He's trying to cope with reality. Tsunade sighed and Jiraiya asked, okay, so what do we do? Even though it hurts him, we have to bring him back to reality, Tsunade stated, knowing that she would detest the following scene. While chatting with the puppets, Naruto noticed Jiraiya and Tsunade approaching. Wawa, he exclaimed, getting up to approach them. Naruto appeared in front of Tsunade and Jiraiya as they came to a stop. Softly, Tsunade said, hello, Naruto. Jiraiya said, hey kid, with a happy demeanor. Naruto grabbed Kankuro and touched Jiraiya, saying, damn Kankuro, these look good. This confused Tsunade and Jiraiya. Jiraiya started to experience heartbreak when Naruto remarked, I mean, this puppet looks exactly like Pervy Sage. Tsunade turned to face her as he said, Naruto. As he approached and prodded Grandma Tsunade, Naruto exclaimed, Wawa, and you made one of her too. That's attention to detail. Man, you got nearly everything exactly right. You even got her big boobs here, he said. Tsunade grabbed Naruto and said, Naruto, it's me, it's Tsunade. Naruto gave her a wide-eyed look. Wait, you're real, and that implies, Naruto said, turning to face Jiraiya. Jiraiya replied, I'm real too, kid. Naruto's cheerful expression vanished as he turned to walk back. But what about Kakashi and Sasuke and, Naruto asked, turning to face the puppets. Guys say something, he exclaimed, moving over to begin shaking them. Tsunade pleaded with Naruto to stop, and when he did, he turned around. Is this all real? Naruto asked, his eyes welling with tears. Tsunade and Jiraiya nodded in agreement. Oh god, Naruto exclaimed, collapsing to the ground and balling himself up. He started crying uncontrollably, and Jiraiya, Tsunade, Gaara, Temari, and Kankuro all ran towards him. Naruto sobbed on the ground, saying, I just wanted to fix it. I just wanted everything to go back to the way it was. I want to bring Sasuke back. I want to be Hokage. I want to be Naruto Uzumaki again. But I can't fix it. I killed Sasuke, I killed that guy during the mission leaving his daughter all alone. Naruto broke down. Every time I try to fix things, I just make it worse. Why can't I fix it? He began to sob. Everyone who saw Naruto felt their hearts break because, despite his best efforts to keep himself together, everything is falling apart around him. Then Naruto felt the pressure of something soft being applied to his head. Tsunade laid Naruto's head on her chest and gave him tender hair strokes. As tears started streaming down her cheeks, Tsunade apologized to Naruto, saying, I'm sorry you suffered the way you did, I'm sorry I wasn't able to protect you like I should have, I'm sorry you lost your dream, Jiraiya looked down and said, I'm sorry too, kid. I failed you, Naruto. If only I was there, if only I was a better teacher, I could have helped you. His regret was visible on his face. After sobbing for a few more minutes, Naruto finally spoke. Naruto told Jiraiya and Tsunade, it's not your fault. It's the villagers. They always hated me and they will hate me forever. I was a fool for thinking it could be different. As Kankuro moved forward, Temari, who was kneeling, remarked, it can be different, Naruto. You're no longer in Konoha. You are in Suna. You can start over here, be who you always wanted to be. You may not be a Konoha ninja anymore, Kankuro stated, but you are still Naruto Uzumaki. That's one thing that no one can take away from you, he replied. With a smile on his usually expressionless face, Gaara said, I was able to change Naruto. You helped me change my ways and become who I was too blind to be. He also offered to help Naruto find his way. Naruto wiped away his tears and sniffed. Thank Hikyu, he said. Thank you all, he added, grinning for the first time in a long time. Jiraiya picked Naruto up and said, now then, kid. Enough crying. Let's go and talk. We have a lot to catch up on. At the Kazekage residence. In the ensuing hours, Naruto filled Jiraiya and Tsunade in on his limited activities since leaving Konoha, the majority of which involved him training with Temari and Kankuro. Naruto pulled out his 2 small fans and said, I've been making some progress with these fans. I'm not a master by any means, but I'm making progress. I've also been training with this gauntlet blade that Kankuro made for me. Naruto then showed the 2 sen in his blade. Jiraiya and Tsunade were both relieved to see Naruto acting somewhat normally again. Although Tsunade was aware that Naruto's mental state was far from stable, this was still a positive step. Jiraiya grinned before continuing. Naruto, Jiraiya said, grabbing his focus. I have to tell you something about your parents, he continued, causing Naruto to freeze. What about them? Worried Naruto a little. Jiraiya said, Sarutobi-sensei made it a law to keep you safe from talking about your parents. They were very important people, and frankly it would have shook Konoha to the core. Naruto became very curious at this point. Then Jiraiya pulled out 2 scrolls and said, I want you to have them so you can have some closure. I have one of your father and one of your mother. Taking both scrolls, Naruto examined them. One scroll said Kushina, while the other was blank. The 2 scrolls in Naruto's hands started to tremble as he looked at them. What's the size of this? Inquired Naruto, giving Jiraiya a serious expression. You're a pretty big kid. Your mother was significant, but only I, Tsunade, Kakashi, and Sarutobi-sensei know who your father is, Jiraiya remarked. Naruto studied the scrolls and placed his fingers on the edge of the blank one. It's my father, Naruto thought to himself as he struggled to find the courage to open it. I can't, he uttered, setting the scroll down. With a faltering voice, Naruto uttered, I don't think I can. Not yet. Jiraiya picked up the scroll and said, it's okay, Naruto. You don't have to do it until you're ready. I'll hold onto it until then. Naruto nodded. Tsunade urged Naruto to, at least see who she was, and, read your mother's. Naruto nodded. After giving the scroll a quick glance, Naruto opened it with trembling hands and started reading the letter. Dear Naruto. If you are reading this, then I most likely died in the line of duty. It's ironic I'm writing about my death when you are not even born yet. I hope that when you do read this that it will be when I'm old and rotting on my deathbed, but in the world of the shinobi nothing is certain. I'm currently 8 months pregnant with you and waiting for you to arrive any day now. I am here to give you the words you probably heard hundreds of times before, but there is no harm in repeating them. When I was told I was pregnant with you, I was over the moon. I knew from the first moment I would be bringing into this world not only a strong ninja but a strong man. The world of the shinobi is never certain, but what is certain is those you have beside you. Me, your father, Jiraiya, and all the future friends you will have is what truly matters in this world. You will have a lot of great challenges in your life. This is a sad reality of this crazy world. But what makes this bearable is how you deal with it. Lots of people believe you become powerful by learning jutsu or by gaining wealth. But there is no greater power than protecting those you love. So here is what I have to say. Find someone or something to protect with all your heart. Make plenty of friends, find the love of your life and never let her go. And whatever you do it for the right reasons. Make sure you abide by the shinobi prohibitions. God knows Jiraiya will not follow them. And remember this, Naruto. No matter where you go or what you do with your life, know that me and your father will love you unconditionally until our final breaths. I look forward to seeing the fine man you turn into, and I hope that you never have to read this, but remember this. I love you with all my heart and soul. I can't wait to see you in a few weeks, Naruto. Your loving mother, Kushina Uzumaki. As he finished reading the message aloud, tears started to fall onto the scroll. She loves me, Naruto said, holding the scroll close to his chest. My mother actually loved me, he added, turning to face the 5 people in front of him. Jiraiya turned to face Gaara, but Tsunade and Temari started to hold and console the sobbing Naruto, wiping away their tears. Jiraiya whispered to Gaara, I can do this. 3 months here and 3 months out running my spy network. Tsunade may not be able to stay here long, but that's not a problem for me. Gaara nodded. Jiraiya nodded as Gaara stated, I think that will be most beneficial to Naruto. I'll also take into account what kind of missions he'll do. He has a long way to go. Jiraiya looked at Naruto and said, but for now, let's just give him some time. He's been through enough. The following day, Konoha. When Tsunade arrived back in Konoha, her battle armor was ripped and damaged. Sakura was sprinting in her direction as she made her way to the cage tower. Sakura ran up to Lady Tsunade and addressed her, asking, did you kill him? Is Orochimaru dead? Tsunade gave her a strange look. Tsunade scowled and said, slippery bastard got away again. He went back to whatever hole he was hiding in. Sakura also scowled. We'll get him next time, Lady Tsunade. Don't worry, Sakura remarked, turning to turn and start to leave. Tsunade had to lie to her apprentice, which made her feel guilty. Sorry Sakura, Tsunade thought to herself as she started to walk back to her tower to resume her cage duties. It looks like I'm continuing Sensei's legacy of keeping secrets. As much as I hate to do so, Tsunade said. Dig a secret lair. You have made a lot of progress since you joined Root, Danzo said, sitting in a room lit by candles behind his desk. Now it's time to see if you are ready for the next step, he added, pulling out a scroll and setting it on his desk. In order to achieve change in this world you have to take it, Danzo stated, and in order for that to happen we will need soldiers. I will be giving you 2 squads to fulfill your mission, do not fail me, he concluded. I had reached out and taken the scroll just then. With a frown on her face, Ino Yamanaka glanced at the scroll before turning to her teammate Sai and saying, let's go, Sai. We will complete the mission without fail, Lord Danzo. Then, she started to leave the room, leaving Danzo by himself. As he started plotting and organizing his next move, Danzo thought, soon Tsunade, you will be a footnote in history and I will ascend Konoha to its rightful glory. How it was always supposed to be. 3 months after Jiraiya's arrival, Suna. Inside the cage office stood Naruto, Temari, Kankuro, Gaara, and Jiraiya. Jiraiya was on her way out of Suna when she had a message to deliver. As you all know, I've been here training Naruto for the past 3 months, Jiraiya responded, but certain things have popped up. There have been recent attacks throughout the elemental nations, he stated, and Temari intervened. Temari inquired, what kind of attacks? And Gaara answered. Jiraiya nodded as Gaara stated, mostly in places with small shinobi presences. Like farming villages in smaller countries. Small villages of 500 or less have been attacked recently, he said, raising everyone's eyebrows. I'm going to head out and do some intel gathering, Jiraiya said. If need be, I'll come back and ask for Suna's help as Konoha is in no way, shape or form help out. Because over the past few months the council has pushed for a more isolationist policies, he stated. Jiraiya nodded as Naruto remarked, "Gaw those dicks. Those guys always hated me. If they hated someone from their own village, why would they help out foreigners?" Jiraiya explained, "So that's why I'm heading out for 3 months," before pulling out a scroll and throwing it to Naruto. "Here are some exercises and techniques you can learn until I get back," Jiraiya added, to which Naruto grinned. Jiraiya grinned back at Naruto, who said, "Thanks, pervy sage." Jiraiya said, "You're welcome, kid," and waved his hand. Good luck and stay safe. And have fun in Kiri, he said, before vanishing into a whirl of leaves. Naruto asked, perplexed. Kiri, and Gaara answered. Yes, Naruto and Temari, I have a mission for you both, Gaara said, grabbing their attention. The country is in shambles, especially in the medical department, as a result of the end of the Kiri civil war 2 months ago, Gaara continued. As both of the blondes looked up in surprise, Gaara announced that the humanitarian mission would last 3 months. You will escort a small Suna contingent of medical ninja to Kiri. You will provide medical aid and help rebuild, he said. Naruto applauded as Gaara said, go to the Suna hospital and get ready to leave tomorrow. Naruto turned to face Temari and said, hell, yeah, road trip. You totally psyched, Temari. We're gonna kick ass. Temari gave him a look. Temari remarked, it's a humanitarian mission. There probably won't be any fighting, and Naruto gave a nod. You're right, Naruto said, crossing his arms, we're gonna protect so much ass, which caused Temari to roll her eyes at the ridiculousness of the joke and made Gaara laugh. With a slight smile, Temari said, you're such an idiot, I swear. Come on, let's go to the hospital, Temari added, as she and Naruto left. Kankuro interrupted, hey Gaara, why didn't you send me along? Gaara shot him a look. Besides, Naruto and Temari work great together. They have very similar chemistry, Naruto said, holding his head down. The last time you two went out on a mission, you both nearly died, Gaara said. Kankuro laughed as Gaara added, in addition, there is no one I trust more with my sister than Naruto. Gaara nodded as Kankuro said, yeah, I get it. He's a trustworthy guy, unlike that Nara asshole that Temari was into. Suna Medical Center. As he entered the hospital with Temari, Naruto looked at her despite the fact that his face was hidden by his ninja attire. Temari grinned and asked, so, who's leading the medical team again? Naruto asked. Naruto nodded when Temari introduced her as Elder Chiyo, adding, she's no Lady Tsunade but she's the best medical ninja we have. She also teaches new ninja medics. Naruto and Temari paused as they entered the room where they were supposed to go and took a look at the medical contingent, which consisted of about 20 women. All of the others, with the exception of one elderly woman, appeared to be Temari's age or 1 or 2 years older than Naruto. A bewildered Naruto exclaimed. Where are the guys? Is this like a woman's only room? No, young man, this is the right room, an elderly woman said as she approached slowly. In Suna, women make up the vast majority of medical personnel because they have superior chakra control, the woman smiled. Naruto asked, and who are you, Grandma? And she laughed. With a smile, Chiyo introduced himself as Elder Chiyo, the head of the medical staff. As Temari gave the elderly woman a hug, she said, good to see you again, Elder Chiyo. Temari grinned as Chiyo remarked, like wise young Temari. You look even prettier than the last time I saw you. Temari gave Naruto a sidelong glance as he spoke, I'd hope so, grabbing their attention. I got her this special soaps and stuff for her birthday last month. I know girls like soap and stuff. I never get it. Temari remarked, I don't understand how you wash yourself with that 100 Ryu bar of soap. It feels like I'm rubbing a brick against my skin. Naruto sighed. Hey, I'm just glad I can buy soap now. I used to just do with water, Naruto stated. Stupid store owners, said. Chiyo questioned, and who are you, young man? Naruto answered. Naruto introduced himself under the alias Natsu, saying, I'm a new ninja from outside the village. Nice to meet you, Granny. Chiyo grinned in response. Naruto winced as Chiyo remarked, nice to meet you, Natsu. But why is your face covered? If you don't mind, I'd like to ask. Said Naruto, trying to think of a response. Leprosy, he said. Temari gave her a headshake, and Chiyo chuckled. Naruto stroked the back of her head as she laughed, if you're going to lie, at least choose a disease from this century. There's no need to keep your guard up around me, son. She patted his hand. It's okay if you cannot say. Thanks, Granny Chiyo, Naruto said, and the elderly woman grinned. Chiyo then excused herself and returned to the others, giving Naruto a sense of security that he felt no ill will from her. Really, Temari smirked and said, leprosy. Hey, I don't know of any illnesses that result in deformity, Temari chuckled in response to Naruto. Naruto laughed as she remarked, "You could have just said it was to cover a scar or religious thing." Temari nodded as they both headed off to meet the others. "Yeah, that would have been better," Naruto said. "Okay, so let's go meet the others." At dawn on the following day, standing at the front gates facing Gaara, who had come to see them off, were Naruto, Temari, Chio, and the medical staff. "I just want to wish you all good luck and safe travels," Gaara said, "and remember you are all representing Suna. Leave a good impression," to which they all nodded. Then Temari moved forward and said something. "Okay people, let's get a move on," Temari yelled. "I'll take the lead. Natsu, you take the rear. If you see anything suspicious let us know and we will handle it," she responded. "Yes, ma'am," was the response from the group, and Temari nodded. "Let's get going," Temari said, leading the group out of Suna's gates. A few hours later, across Storm's border, in the land. It was getting dusk. Temari, Naruto, and the others had been walking since dawn. While Naruto, Temari, and Chio were unharmed, the medical personnel was moving more slowly because they were not field ninjas and lacked the same training and stamina. They were walking along when Temari noticed a roadside inn and said, "We'll stop here for the night." The weary members of her group nodded. Temari continued, "We still have another 2 days until we reach Yuga so we can board our ship to Kiri." When Temari and the others arrived at the inn, they were shown to a large room, and one of the girls turned to face Naruto before speaking. She said in a nice voice, "Natsu, it's okay if you take off your covering. It's just the two of us here." Naruto hesitated and turned to face Temari. Grinning, Temari nodded to reassure him that everything was okay. After all, Temari had checked to make sure none of the girls knew who he was because of the Chunin exams. "Okay," Naruto uttered a trembling, "Oh. Okay," and he started to take off his face coverings. Naruto's hair had grown significantly since 3 months prior, and he wore it in a small ponytail similar to Temari's. Ironically, Temari was lending Naruto his hair scrunchies because he was missing his own. After revealing his face, Naruto turned to face the other girls, who were all staring at him with wide eyes. Is there something wrong?" he asked inquiringly. As she started to unpack her belongings, the girl said, "No, nothing is wrong." At this, Temari arched an eyebrow and whispers started. They whispered to each other, "Oh my god, he's cute, his eyes are so blue, he's a blonde, and look at those birthmarks on his face. They're so exotic." At this, Temari rolled her eyes. As Temari looked around, she thought, "Oh great, now Naruto has a fan club. Man, this is going to be so awkward for Naruto." After 2 hours, a girl held up a piece of meat with chopsticks and said, "Here, takes a bite of this Natsu." "Wow, that looks delicious," Naruto exclaimed as he bit into the meat and chewed it. "Man, that's amazing. What kind of meat is that?" he inquired, eliciting giggles from the girls. Naruto scratched the back of his head as she remarked, "It's a camel." "How have you not had it before?" Naruto remarked, "I'm from an outside village. Not many camels where I come from," as the girls drew nearer, some of them even pressing against him to cause him to blush. "What the fuck, Naruto?" Temari thought to herself as she sat across the table eating her curry goat. "How can you be so calm around them when just a few months ago you were a mess?" Temari thought to herself. Temari blushed as Chio, who was seated next to her, laughed and caught her attention. "Don't worry, Temari. I'm sure your boyfriend won't cheat on you," Chio said. Temari caught herself and said, Boyfriend. Natsu is not my boyfriend. I couldn't care less what he does," she said, crossing her arms. Chio laughed when she saw this. Temari looked at Chio with wide eyes as she said, "I've seen the way he acts toward you," grabbing her attention. "He's attached to you, he relies on you, you are very precious to him." Before starting to eat her food once more, Temari recalled Naruto kissing her cheek and his words, "You are really precious to me. Don't forget it." Those words stuck in her head for a brief while. Temari tried to argue against it, thinking, Naruto would never see me that way. I'm sure he sees me like a big sister or something. Then, as she turned to face Naruto again, who was hanging out with the other girls, she felt a tiny twinge of guilt. Temari chose to ignore it and started eating her meal again. Later on in the evening, after brushing her teeth, Temari was getting ready for bed when she noticed Naruto waiting for his turn as she was leaving the bathroom. Naruto said, "Hey Temari, you ready to hit the hay?" And Temari nodded. "Yes, I am," Temari grinned. "I'll be by later so we can go to sleep," she added. Just then, she noticed the expression on Naruto's face and he started talking. Naruto rubbed the back of his head and said, "Yeah, about that." Temari froze as he said, "I think it'll be better if we didn't do that tonight. It's just that we are all sleeping in the same room. And I'd rather not have any rumors spread about you sleeping with me," Naruto replied. "You know, because you're like a princess and stuff," he continued. Temari started to clench her fist but managed to maintain a fake smile. "Thank you Naruto," she said, barely managing to keep herself together. "You're right. It would cause some problems," Temari continued, hurrying away. Puzzled, Naruto turned to face her. "Did I say something wrong?" he wondered to himself. When Temari entered the room with her futon and saw that everyone else was asleep, she stealthily went under her covers. With her back to the public, Temari covered her face to conceal her tears. As her tears started to fall onto her pillow, Temari thought, "He doesn't need me anymore." The following day, as she led the group down the road, Temari had a somewhat melancholic and angry expression on her face. Naruto softly interrupted, Temari. Are you okay? You haven't said anything in hours." Temari then turned to face him. Temari yelled, "Fuck off, I'm fine. Get off my ass." She immediately regretted it, though, as she saw tears well up in Naruto's eyes. I'm sorry Temari started, but she stopped short as Naruto bolted to the back of the group. As they started to console Naruto, a few girls said, "It's okay, Natsu." "I'm sure she didn't mean it." Temari slapped herself in the head and said, "Damn it. Stupid." Chio approached, alarmed by Temari's uncontrollable outburst. Chio reprimanded Temari, making her appear embarrassed. "Temari, what was that? That is no way to talk to a boy who asked an innocent question." "I apologize, she started. One of the girls pointed up at the sky and said, "Hey, look over there. There's a lot of black smoke." As they all saw, there were several pillars of black smoke. Grabbing her fan, Temari turned to face the group and uttered, "Natsu with me. The rest of you hide." Before making 5 earth clones and saying, "I'm old not useless." "I'll assist you," Chio said, "wait." Temari nodded. Temari said, "Okay, let's go," as the 3 leapt off, leaving the medical staff to be guarded by Chio's clones. Alongside Temari, Chio, and Naruto. A village was being attacked by Anbu wearing blank masks, so Naruto, Chio, and Temari took cover in the trees outside the village. They were taking small children and babies alive, but killing all the adults, the elderly, and the older kids. Temari questioned, "Why are they doing this?" as Chio stayed silent. Naruto pulled out his fans and said, "Who cares? We got to stop them," he continued, "because we are on a humanitarian mission." "He's correct," Chio remarked, "let's go assist them," her eyes burning. "Excellent," Temari remarked, "let's get started." Following their swift entry into the village, all 3 of them leapt from the trees. Naruto then unleashed 2 wind blades, decapitating 2 of the ninjas who were blind to his presence. A third emerged from a structure and charged inside, brandishing his katana in preparation for a blow. But Chio used the hidden blade in her prosthetic arm to kill the ninja. Naruto questioned, "You're a robot?" Chio chuckled. As the 3 of them made their way into the village square, they noticed dozens of young children huddled together in the center of a seal. "No. Just lost a limb in a war," Chio responded. At that moment, the seal started to glow, and all of the kids vanished in a puff of smoke. A recognizable female voice said, "Mission success." Naruto turned to see Ino Yamanaka wiping blood off her tanto on the dead civilian she had killed. Sensing chakra from people other than her root members, Ino cast a glance over and noticed Temari, Chio, and a disguised Naruto. Ino grinned and said, well, look what we have here." Temari responded, "Temari right. Shikamaru was heartbroken when you turned on him," with a growl. With a laugh, Temari exclaimed, "He tried to kill his comrade. He's lucky I didn't bash his fucking head in." Ino laughed. Before turning to face her rude Anbu, Ino remarked, "Well, I guess I can take you alive. Shikamaru would love to have a present. Sai, kill the one with the face coverings, she pointed to Naruto. Pointing at Chiyo, Ino said, the rest of you deal with the old hag. Chiyo reacted defensively as 50 Rudenbu got ready to face her. I'll handle the princess over here, she declared, pulling out her tanto. As he braced himself for the impending battle, Naruto watched in horror and bewilderment. Ino is behind this. What's happening? What the hell is going on? He thought to himself. Alongside Naruto. While sprinting through the village in search of a better place to fight, Naruto noticed an ink tiger approaching him from behind. Naruto pulled out his fan and spun around, launching a wind blade that struck the ink tiger squarely in the face. Naruto then started to run once more. How long do you intend on running? Asked Sai, who was trying to catch up to Naruto. Is this all you Sand Shinobi are good for? Cowardly attack and running away? Sai asked. Ignoring him, Naruto continued running until he stopped and turned around. Looking around, Naruto thought, this should be a good area. He was in a grass field now, free of boulders and trees, and far enough away from Temari and Chiyo. Huh, looks like you have some brains, Sai remarked, feigning a smile, picking a place that will benefit your long to mid range fighting style. Sai then stopped a few yards away. Sai pulled out his tanto and said, not that it will help you. When I kill you, I will go back for that blonde girl. This made Naruto cringe. She's the former Kasuke's daughter, correct? Sai replied, she will be very useful to my master. Who knows, maybe her children will bring another Kekkei Genkai to village, he replied. As he pulled out his second fan and assumed a fighting stance, Naruto felt his blood boil. You will not touch Temari, he declared, and you will pay for what you did to this village. Alongside Chiyo. Chiyo was in the middle of the marketplace on the other side of the village. A large number of civilian corpses were nearby, the majority of which had been struck in the back with a kunai or shuriken. How terrible, Chiyo thought to herself, reminds me of the Warring Clan period. Innocents being killed for no reason. At that moment, all 50 Anbu descended upon her, brandishing swords and drawing kunai. The Anbu leader commanded, give up. You have no chance against us. Chiyo raised her hands and said, very well then. I surrender. I'm too old to fight back. The Anbu leader was taken aback and sent 4 of his root members to go after her. They beheaded their fellow root members as soon as they got within a few feet of each other. One of the Anbu yelled, what? As he started to be twisted around. My body lacks control, the other person uttered. Chiyo laughed and remarked, ha ha ha. I will never give in to such cowardly men. She started to use the 2 Anbu as living puppets and said, you may be skilled at killing unarmed civilians. But I am Elder Chiyo, puppet master of Suna. Now come and face justice for your crimes. As the other Anbu charged Chiyo to take her life, the Anbu leader yelled, kill her. Alongside Temari. With a frown on her face, Temari was staring down Ino when she made the decision to become defensive. Wind Scythe Jutsu, Temari exclaimed, and she swung her fan to produce a powerful wind gust. When Ino saw this, she made the hand gesture, earth style, mud wall, and slammed her hands into the ground to form a mud wall around herself to fend off Temari's attack. Water style. Water bullets was written on the hand signs that Ino went through after jumping to the top of the mud wall. Ino shot Temari multiple water bullets. When Temari noticed this, she started to avoid the water projectiles and saw Ino approaching from behind while brandishing a kunai. Ino dodged under Temari's closed fan as she swung it like a club at her, slashing at her. When Ino touched Temari's stomach, she did not see any blood. Temari then sent Ino reeling backwards with a kick to the face. Thank God for body armor, Temari thought to herself as she peered down at her torn shirt and the chainmail underneath. Looks like the spoiled princess finally got some moves, Temari mockingly remarked as she turned to face Ino. I remember your embarrassing fight during the Chunin exams. Looks like you finally became a proper kunoichi, she grinned. Not some Uchiha-loving slut who was more focused on her looks than her training, Temari replied. I'll show you a proper kunoichi, you sand bitch, Ino scowled at this, going through her repertoire of hand gestures. She then created an odd hand gesture by connecting her opposite index and pinkies. When Temari saw this, she leapt aside, believing Ino to be utilizing her mind transfer technique. Then Temari stopped, looking around her as her world turned to black and white, or genjutsu. The voice of Ino Disconnect said, "Temari, it's hopeless. Once you're in my genjutsu, there's no way out." Temari scowled at this. She opened her fan and swung it aimlessly, but when nothing happened, she became worried. Ha 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 ha, Ino laughed disorientedly. Did I forget to mention that this genjutsu also prevents you from forming chakra? My bad, she uttered. Holy crap, where the hell is that? Temari exclaimed as she started to feel pain in her side. She grabbed her side and glanced at her hand. She was gushing blood. As Temari searched the area for Ino, she said, "Don't worry, I won't kill you," but she couldn't guarantee that it wouldn't hurt. Temari then laughed. I need Naruto or Chio here to break me out, where are they? Temari thought to herself as she was being slashed on the arm. Shit, how am I supposed to find her? Temari thought to herself. Alongside Naruto, Sai was riding an ink bird when Naruto launched multiple wind blades in his direction. Come down here and fight me like a man, Naruto yelled as he launched another wind blade at Sai. Again dodging, Sai pulled out his scroll and drew in it. Let's see if he can handle this, Sai declared, sending 2 ink golems to battle Naruto on the ground. After giving the 2 golems a cursory glance and thinking, damn, those things are big, they have to be like 10 feet tall, Naruto started to charge at the prepared Naruto. With his arm blade out and his fans raised, Naruto charged the golems, prepared to face them head on. As Naruto ducked beneath the golem's blow by slipping on the ground, one of the golems swung his fist at him. Naruto used his momentum to cut the golem's Achilles, bringing it to a knee. With haste, Naruto stood back up and dashed up the golem's back. The golem attempted to strike Naruto with its arm, but it was unable. As he got closer to the top of the golems, Naruto leapt to his feet and used wind chakra to charge his blade. He then descended with a slash that severed the golems' heads. Naruto was covered in ink by the golems, which he wiped away just in time to see the second golem in front of him. The second golem kicked Naruto, sending him skidding across the ground. Naruto winced and grabbed his rubs, thinking, damn, that hurt. With lightning speed, Naruto ignored the pain and returned to his fighting stance. He then pulled out multiple shuriken and used wind chakra to charge them. After throwing the shuriken at the golem, which raised its arms in defense, Naruto charged at it, distracting it and eliminating his admirers once more. Gazing down from his bird, Sai was quite impressed with the boy because he was outperforming most of them when it came to using his golems. Sai watched in disbelief as Naruto jumped over the golem onto its head. She was startled when Naruto leapt into the air, using the golem as a springboard. Surprise fuckface. Naruto yelled as he brought both of his fans back. Then, using the wind sickle jutsu, he swung both of his fans forward and fired a concentrated wall of wind at Sai from a closer distance. Unable to parry the blow, Sai took it squarely in the face, his bird scattering into ink as he fell to the ground. With his wind knocked out of him, Sai hit the ground hard. Naruto, still in the air, turned around and swung his fans backwards, sending Sai falling to the ground more quickly. Naruto raised both of his fans, aiming straight at the golem. He then pulled out his blade again and slashed it through the golem's head. As he hit the ground, Naruto used the golem to slow down his momentum. When the golem turned into ink, Naruto was able to get back up. Naruto pivoted to face Sai. As he assumed his fighting stance, Naruto declared, "No more tricks. We end this with blades." After spitting some blood from his mouth, Sai assumed his tanto and uttered the words, "Your funeral," while adopting a stance. After exchanging brief looks, the two boys suddenly charged at one another and started slamming blades. Alongside Chio. With the help of her puppeteering abilities, Chio continued to battle the Root Anbu, but the group had shrunk to just 25 members after half of them perished. The Anbu leader yelled, "How the hell have we not killed her yet? She's just one old lady." Recalling the 2 deformed Anbu corpses she had placed on either side of her, Chio uttered, "I'm old, not weak, boy," before letting them drop. Looks like they will no longer be necessary, Chio continued, pulling out a scroll. After Chio opened the scroll and retrieved 10 white robed puppets, she thought, it's probably time for a function check since I haven't used these in over 30 years. Chiyo sent 2 of the puppets toward a group of 5 Anbu, who all assumed a defensive position as the puppets got closer. The puppets flew by, with the Anbu positioned precisely in the center, and then both joined hands and pulled apart to reveal dozens of tiny steel wires. The Anbu remained motionless for a brief moment before disintegrating into a heap of fragments. Then, at breakneck speed, the Chiyo sent another puppet brandishing blades in the direction of a different group of 5 people. Anbu attempted to slash at the puppet with his sword. The puppet retaliated with a slash that disemboweled the Anbu after blocking the blow as though it were alive. The puppet dodged the 4 surviving Anbu's attack attempts by leaping to the center of the group, performing a dance. Like attack before stopping with both blades extended. With a wet plop, all 4 of the Anbu's heads hit the ground. Upon witnessing this, the Anbu leader became enraged and yelled, "Regroup." At that moment, the remaining 15 Anbu came together as a larger group to defend themselves. Chiyo laughed and said, "Ha ha ha, you just handed me my victory." She then sent her puppets of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha in their direction. A few yards away, every puppet came to a halt and arranged themselves into a triangle, with 2 puppets on the ground and 1 on each of their shoulders. Chiyo yelled, "3 joules suction crushing," and at that moment, a strong vacuum started, drawing the Anbu in the direction of the puppets. The Anbu were torn apart as they passed through the opening in the puppets and transformed into a red mist on the other side. Chiyo, realizing she had all of the Anbu, cancelled the jutsu and took back all of her puppets. After that, she turned to see if any more were left, but since there weren't, she closed up her puppets once more. "Let us check on Lady Temari's condition," Chiyo thought to herself as she dashed out of sight, leaving the chaos in her wake. Alongside Naruto. Sai was about to parry a slash from Naruto when he parried with a blow to the face that struck. Sai's head jolted back, but he recovered fast and leapt away. Naruto was panting now as Sai assumed a stance and fixed his gaze on him. "I have to stop this," Naruto thought to himself. Making a hand gesture he hadn't used in a few months, he yelled, "Shadow Clone Jutsu," and created 10 shadow clones, giving Sai a startled expression. How does he know that jutsu? That is a forbidden jutsu from Konoha, Sai wondered. Naruto and his clones suddenly charged at him, startling him out of his reverie. As Naruto and his clones got closer to Sai, he went on the defensive. One of the clones slashed at Sai, who parried with his tanto. 2 more clones approached, and Sai prepared herself in response to the clone's kick to the gut, which dispelled it. Sai leapt, decapitating both clones with a spinning slash that sent them shooting up in a cloud of smoke. When Naruto realized this, he seized the chance and, as he got closer to Sai, charged his blade with wind chakra. Sai tried to block Naruto's blow with his tanto, but was taken aback when Naruto's blade went right through his attempt. After slashing Sai across his chest and severing it, Naruto used an uppercut to stab Sai in the underchin and puncture the top of his skull. With a hand on Sai's head and a gaze into his lifeless eyes, Naruto then withdrew his blade and allowed Sai's lifeless body to drop to the ground. A different time, Naruto would have tried to talk the dead boy down or knock him out, but instead he looked down at him and felt nothing. Naruto withdrew his arm blade and fled to Temari, his previous location, realizing that sparing someone could result in death. Alongside Temari. Temari stood up unsteadily and looked around, feeling the effects of her genjutsu wearing off. She was under attack from Ino, but she was unable to see where it was coming from and was also unable to form chakra to break the genjutsu. Temari was dizzy and had cuts all over her body. She was also thinking, "Damn, what can I do?" As she searched for a way out of the predicament, but then she had an idea that might work. While she prepared her kunai, Ino was staring at Temari and thinking to herself, "Looks like you are not all you crack up to be." "You can't find me," Ino thought to herself. With her kunai poised to attack, Ino started to sprint towards Temari. Temari let out a painful cry as Ino stabbed her in the shoulder. When Ino noticed Temari smiling, Temari snatched Ino's hand and spat, smearing blood all over her face. With a smile on her face and the ability to see her own blood in the black and white, Temari said, "I see you bitch," which caused Ino to widen her eyes. Temari then took Ino's kunai away and punched the girl in the stomach. After that, Temari sent Ino to the ground with a leg sweep. He then mounted her and took her by the neck. Temari started to choke Ino while she kicked and fought, but Temari did not stop. She kept squeezing Ino's neck. In a desperate attempt to stop the bleeding, Ino punched Temari in one of her wounds. Temari released her grip, and Ino kicked her off. Upon rising again, Ino noticed a dropped kunai and attempted to seize it, but was thwarted. Ino cried out as she clutched her now bleeding stump after Naruto, having arrived just in time, severed her hand with his blade. When Chiyo arrived, she tapped Temari on the shoulder, shattering the genjutsu that had been applied to her. Temari's eyes fluttered, glancing over to see Naruto standing over Ino. With a disgusted expression on his face, Naruto looked down at Ino, who was sobbing over her severed limb. "You sure have fallen, Ino," he said, causing Ino to widen her eyes. "How could you sink so low to attack an innocent village?" he asked. Naruto. "You're alive," Ino said, beginning to feel a little afraid. Naruto, you're not going to kill me, are you? We were friends, you wouldn't." Ino started, but stopped short of finishing. Naruto chopped Ino's head off with a single blow. Naruto turned around and looked at Temari, who was receiving healing from Chiyo. "Not falling for it," he said. "You okay, Temari?" Naruto questioned, to which Temari nodded. As Temari stood up, Naruto nodded and started searching the village. "Yeah, I'm fine," Temari said. "Let's look for survivors, seal up that bitch's body, and get back to the group." After a few hours. After searching the village and discovering no survivors, Naruto, Temari, and Chiyo left to reunite with the group and resume their journey. They pretended to be bandits rather than admitting that Konoha was the one who attacked the village in order to avoid putting themselves in further danger. Once they arrived at a different inn, Chiyo and Temari requested to use a private conference room, and the innkeepers granted their request. Chiyo then installed a privacy barrier after inspecting the space for bugs. Chiyo said, "Naruto, summon Lord Jiraiya," and Naruto nodded. Then, using hand signals, Naruto called for a toad. "How may I assist you?" the toad uttered. The toad nodded and said, "Can you get Pervy Sage here? I need him for something serious." The toad then vanished in a puff of smoke. Naruto said. After waiting for a few minutes, Jiraiya was finally revealed by another puff of smoke that revealed Naruto and the others. Jiraiya grinned and said, "Hey kid, miss me already?" But as soon as he noticed the serious expressions on their faces, he changed his tone and asked, "What happened? Something wrong? Seriously?" Chiyo pulled out a blank Anbu mask bearing the kanji root. Temari pulled out a picture of the seal that was used to teleport the village children, and Naruto opened a scroll to reveal the head of Ino Yamanaka. Jiraiya widened his eyes and then developed an irate expression. Jiraiya sat down and said, "Naruto, Temari, Elder Chiyo, tell me everything, and leave nothing out." Alongside Jiraiya, Chiyo, Temari, and Naruto. After listening to Naruto, Temari, and Chiyo's latest information, Jiraiya sat motionless on the ground and sighed as he took in everything. Jiraiya then turned to face the severed head of Ino Yamanaka. Jiraiya said, "This is not good at all. You three have just discovered something big." He stood up and took up the blank Anbu mask. These masks symbolize an old Anbu organization called Root. Jiraiya clarified, they were headed by Danzo, a Konoha council member and the one who pushed for Naruto to be placed under his command after the mission to retrieve Sasuke, Jiraiya said as Naruto growled. Jiraiya raised his hand as Naruto exclaimed, "Well, let's go and get him. We need to take him down and free those kids." "Calm down, kid. It's not that simple." Jiraiya stood up after saying, "Danzo is making a power grab from Tsunade and so far, he is winning. Danzo has been garnering support from the shinobi and civilian population." Jiraiya pointed to Ino's head and said, "And that's not all. That girl is the heiress of the Yamanaka clan. She's one of the princesses of Konoha." Temari then gave her a forehead slap. "Oh fuck, I just realized that." Temari angrily gripped her head. "If word spreads that a group of Suna ninja killed a clan heiress and 50 ninja, there will be calls for blood, right or wrong," Temari continued, making Naruto wide-eyed. Naruto scratched his head and remarked, "Crap, you're right. If Konoha was preparing for war again when Hinata was about to be kidnapped, who knows what they will do to Suna." "And that's not all," Chiyo replied. "If Konoha finds out you are alive and you killed that girl, it won't matter the circumstances. They will see anyone who tries to defend you as a traitor, which means all your remaining friends in Konoha will be put to the sword, she said. Naruto started to get scared. Naruto started to breathe heavily and clutch his chest, saying, "Oh God. Kakashi-sensei, Sakura, Granny Tsunade. I can't put them in danger." Temari realized Naruto was about to have a panic attack and grabbed onto his shoulder to get his attention. Temari comfortingly said, "Naruto, calm down. Take deep breaths." Naruto imitated as Temari breathed in, and they continued this way until Naruto's breathing became easier. Temari calmly reassured Naruto, saying, "Don't panic, nothing has happened yet." After catching his breath, Temari turned to Jiraiya and asked, "So what's the plan?" Jiraiya gave him a thoughtful look. "I will report this to Tsunade and begin to spy on Danzo." Jiraiya added that, "We have to be sneaky about this. Konoha, while still hurt from the invasion, has about 6 times more ninja than Suna, and it's building up fast, according to Jiraiya. And if I'm right, which I hope I'm not, Danzo has been attacking villages and kidnapping those kids to induct them into root," Jiraiya said in a wide-eyed voice, "and by the reports I can estimate that at least 1,000 children are now with him. And sadly, due to Root's training, I can estimate that at least 1/4 of them are dead by now," he continued. As soon as Jiraiya heard that Naruto was feeling sick to his stomach, he reached over and placed his hand on his shoulder. "Don't worry, kid," Jiraiya smiled, "everything will be all right. Have some faith," and Naruto nodded. All right. Jiraiya laughed as Naruto said, "Thanks, pervy sage." Jiraiya said, "Gathering all the evidence, I gotta go. Get to Kiri safe." Naruto inhaled deeply as Jiraiya disappeared in a swirl of leaves. "And remember, keep this to yourselves," he added. Naruto started to walk out, rubbing his eyes and saying, "It's been a long day. I want to go to bed." He heard Temari call him as he was leaving. "Naruto, wait," Temari said as he approached him. Temari gave him a nervous look and lowered his gaze. "Listen." Temari started as he searched for the right words. Temari sighed and looked down. "I'm sorry," she said, looking at him with sad eyes. "Back then on the road, I didn't mean to yell at you. I'm not sure what came over me." "Please pardon me," Temari uttered. Seeing the sincerity in her eyes, Naruto grinned and nodded. "It's okay, Temari. I forgive you," he said, causing Temari to smile. "Just let me know if anything is wrong. Like you said, it's not good to bottle things up," he continued, and Temari nodded. "Yes, I ought to live up to my words," Temari laughed. Temari interrupted Naruto, saying, "Well, let's head to bed." Temari said, Naruto, grabbing his interest. Turning to face her, Naruto said, "Yeah, what's up?" And noticed Temari blushing and fidgeting. Temari timidly asked, "Can I sleep with you tonight?" "I don't want to sleep alone." Naruto nodded in response. "Okay, Temari," Naruto replied, taking her hand. "Come on, let's eat, take a shower, and go to bed." He remarked, "I don't know about you, but fighting a group of evil ninjas is very tiring," which caused Temari to chuckle. Chio watched with a smile as the two interacted. "Is this what I think it is?" Chio wondered as she started to move down the hallway. Could it be that the princess of Suna has fallen for the banished ninja? Chio thought, "Well, I have seen stranger things in my life. Let's see how this goes." After 4 days, a ship carrying Naruto, Temari, Chio, and the rest of the medical team was sailing in the direction of Kiri. Leaning against the top deck railing, Naruto remarked, "Man, this thing is taking forever. How much longer until we reach Kiri?" he asked, turning to face Temari. Temari said, "Patience, Naruto. You cannot rush things like this." At that moment, Temari heard a voice call coming from the crow's nest. From the top of the crow's nest, the sailor yelled, "Land ahead. The port of Kiri, head starboard." Temari looked at Naruto and said, "Well, what do you know?" It seemed as though Kami had heard his prayers, which roused Naruto. Chio called out, grabbing everyone's attention, "Let's go, you lot. We need to look presentable because we are meeting the new Mizukage." In order to prepare for their landing in Kiri, Naruto and the others followed Chio back into the ship. After an hour, to greet the Mizukage, Naruto, Temari, and Chio went down the ramp first. Naruto tried to look presentable and thought, okay, be calm. It's probably just some old dude, just say yes sir and no sir. Three figures caught Naruto's attention as he was strolling along the boardwalk. The first was a stunning young lady with long auburn hair, a blue dress, and a pink lipstick. Two other people were a man with an eye patch and kimono, and a boy who appeared to be around Naruto's age carrying a large sword on his back. Hello, Suna delegate, the woman grinned. Hello, Kiri. My name is Mei Terumi, and these are my assistants, Ao and Chojuro. I hope your trip went smoothly, she smiled. Nice to meet you Lady Terumi. Temari replied. I am Temari and this is Natsu and Lady Chiyo. We are the leaders of this medical delegation and we are happy to offer our assistance, she replied with a grin. Pardon me, Naruto said, grabbing everyone's attention with his raised hand. I thought we were going to meet the Mizukage, where is he? The confused Naruto said. Mei raised an eyebrow in his direction. Mei said, I am the Mizukage, good sir, which caused Naruto to widen his eyes. What are you serious, surprised, Naruto yelled. Turning to face Temari, he babbled, Temari, look, the Mizukage is a super hot lady and not some old guy, can you believe it? Temari and Chiyo started to get pale because Naruto was acting so rudely. Natsu, Temari yelled, don't just. She started, but then a flash of blue passed by. With a smile on her face, Mei approached Naruto and said, excuse me, could you repeat that? Nervous, Naruto said, I'm sorry, Miss Mei. I just didn't think the Mizukage would be such a beautiful woman. I mean, you're like a supermodel pretty and everything, Naruto remarked, trying not to show off his slight blush. Mei then straightened up and faced Ao. You hear that, Ao? He thinks I'm supermodel pretty, she said, beaming. I mean, it's no surprise. I mean, look at me, she continued, striking a few poses that caused everyone to start perspiring. You have the correct name, Natsu, Mei said, and Naruto nodded. May I please see your face? It would be impolite if I didn't see the man who complimented me, Mei continued. Naruto replied, oh sure, as he started to reveal his face to Mei. Tada, he said. Mei appeared to be smiling normally, but on the inside she was not. Mei thought to herself, oh my god, he's so cute. With his golden hair, blue eyes, and adorable whisker marks, she knew that in a few years, he would be quite the sight. With a giggle, Mei thought, I better go after him now. My, what a handsome man you are, Mei exclaimed, making Naruto blush. Then Mei turned to face Chiyo. Oh Miss Chiyo, Ao and Chujiro here will help you find your lodgings, Mei smiled. If it's okay with you, I'd like to talk to Natsu here if I could, Mei continued. Chiyo arched an ear. Mei nodded as she said, oh sure, just bring him back later, he's still on a mission. Mei put her arm around Naruto, causing him to blush red. Of course. I'll bring him back by 7, she said, putting her arm around him. Now then, Natsu. Let's go and chat somewhere, you must be hungry, she smiled. Mei nodded when Naruto asked, do you have ramen? As they walked away, steam started to escape Naruto's ears. Yes, we do. Let's go and have dinner, Mei said, leaning in to whisper in his ear. And maybe we can have dessert later. HMPH. I swear girls nowadays have no class, isn't that right, Temari? Chiyo remarked. Chiyo said, but she didn't get a response. Temari, Chiyo said, turning to face Temari. Chiyo winced as she met Temari's gaze. Temari was gripping her fan so tightly that the metal was starting to bend from the force of her anger and rage. Keep your hands off Naruto you whore, Temari said, her heart filled with rage and anger. Well, sh*t, Chiyo thought. Chiyo thought to herself as she and the others moved away from Temari, who appeared to be about to go on a killing spree. I think a love triangle just started. Chiyo thought, this is going to be a long 3 months. In Konoha. When Jiraiya first arrived in Konoha, the streets were crowded with people, and he exclaimed, what the hell is going on? A familiar voice called out to Jiraiya, Lord Jiraiya. Jiraiya turned to see Sakura Haruno running towards him. Come with me to the town square. It's urgent, she said, and Jiraiya blindly followed. Jiraiya and Sakura saw a projection of Danzo in the air as they raced to the town square. As Jiraiya's heart started to sink, Danzo said, "People of Konoha, a few days ago I sent my newly formed root Anbu on a mission to save a village in need." The crowd gasped when Danzo said, "Upon reaching the village, my root Anbu were attacked by none other than Suna Shinobi." While he listened, Jiraiya thought to himself, "What are you doing, Danzo?" With a somber expression on his face, Danzo stated, "My root Anbu did not wear Konoha markings because this mission was not sanctioned by the Hokage. Her inaction and her inability to lead cost the lives of several root Anbu. And what is worse is that an heiress Ino Yamanaka is missing." The crowd gasped in disbelief. "My spies and agents are searching for her to ensure her safe return home," Danzo declared, unsettling the women in the crown. But as we all know, the fates of young and beautiful kunoichi like her that are captured are never civil. "We have proof that Suna Shinobi carried out this heinous act," Danzo stated, "but we only know the identity of one of the Suna terrorists who was there." He then pulled out a photo that stopped Jiraiya in her tracks. There was a crude drawing of Naruto wearing his disguise. Fortunately, his features were hidden, so the only thing that could be connected to him was the color of his eyes. As the crowd became agitated, Danzo said, "The culprit's name is unknown." However, the alias, Sabaku no Kitsune, Desert Fox, was chosen due to his craftiness and his ability to slip away. As the crowd cheered, Danzo exclaimed, "Even after our resounding victory against Suna during the invasion, they still wish to test us. We cannot let these murders go unpunished. We must act now or we let them walk all over us." Danzo yelled, "Let the Hokage know what we want. Revenge. Konoha would rise above this tragedy," he insisted. "Death him, kill the Desert Fox, and Suna must pay," were the crazed shouts from the crowd. With a scared Sakura, Jiraiya surveyed his surroundings and started to feel a little concerned. "Damn, this is not good," he thought to himself. "This asshole might start another war." Jiraiya started to run toward the cage tower, saying, "Sakura with me. This is very important, we have to see Tsunade." Sakura nodded. "Yes, Lord Jiraiya," Sakura thought to herself as she ran with him towards the tower. Concerned about what was going to happen to this village, Sakura turned to face the enraged and vindictive people of Konoha. Council Chambers in Konoha. In the Konoha Council Chambers, Tsunade yelled, "Danzo, you fucking asshole. You just whipped up the villagers into a frenzy, and for what?" Danzo gave her a detached glance. "It was because of your inaction is the reason I put out the truth," Danzo said with an angry expression. "A clan heir is dead and we are now more vulnerable than ever." "And all because of a Sand Shinobi," Danzo replied. Tsunade corrected him, "Rogue Sand Shinobi," causing him to widen his eyes. "I got this report from the new case cage. Several shinobi loyal to his father deserted the village," she said. Tsunade threw a report at Danzo, who was now wide-eyed, and said, "The Sand Shinobi you sketched as No is Natsu. He's a Chunin-level Sand Shinobi who participated in the Chunin exams but got disqualified because one of his teammates being killed." Pinching the bridge of her nose, Tsunade remarked, "So now not only have you just blamed Suna for something they are not responsible for, but you have nearly fucked us out of a renewed alliance treaty with Suna. And God knows we could have used it." Then Inoichi Yamanaka got to his feet. Inoichi started crying and said, "Lady Tsunade. My Ino. My baby girl. My only daughter has been murdered by this Natsu asshole. What is being done?" Tsunade gave him a somber glance. "I have sent Jiraiya along with 2 genin and a jonin to go and hunt down this Natsu character. Along with that a Suna Shinobi is going along with them," Tsunade said, leaning back in her chair. "Don't worry, Inoichi. I've handled it," she added, and Danzo got to his feet. "And why would Suna help?" "How do we know it's not a trick?" Danzo replied. Tsunade remarked, "Because prick," adding, "the one leading them is Kankuro. Brother of the case cage and we can trust him. Because from what we've been able to find out, Natsu is heading to Kiri," Tsunade replied. "So, what exactly is so important about Kiri?" Danzo asked, not understanding her point. Tsunade said, widening the eyes of the council, "He's going there to kill Temari, the sister of the case cage. I just hope Jiraiya makes it in time. Who knows what could happen." Then, Tsunade stood up and grinned as she started to leave. Try to pull a fast one on me, Danzo. Well, two can play at that game, she thought to herself. Alongside Jiraiya. While chasing Kankuro through the forest, Jiraiya turned to face his three siblings, Guy, Sakura, and Lee. Jiraiya chose them especially for one reason. They lacked Dujutsu, chakra sense, and the ability to smell human scents. Jiraiya thought, I hope my message reached Naruto, and I hope they can put a plan in place before I get there. As they ran, Jiraiya said, keep a steady pace and keep your eyes open. We still have 4 days until we get to Kiri. Yes, Sakura replied to Lord Jiraiya. Yes, sir, Lee replied with a bow. Guy exclaimed, Yosh. May the force of youth lead us on our path to redemption and justice, Guy said. Sakura thought to herself, Ino, we may have had our problems, but I will avenge you. Although Ino and Sakura did not get along because of Naruto, they were still fellow Konoha shinobi. Jiraiya started to perspire heavily as he saw Sakura's expression. OSH*T, kid, you better have a plan, he thought to himself. After 2 days, in Kiri. With a frown on her face, Temari, decked in a hoodie, was lounging on a beach towel, fuming at Naruto, herself, and, most importantly, her. Mei, sporting a blue bikini that flaunted her curves and just barely covered her ample breasts, chirped, "Oh Natsu," from her towel. Can you put some sunscreen on me? I don't want to burn, she said. As he approached, Naruto grinned and said, Sure Mei. Turn over and let me get to work. He was only wearing his orange swimsuit. When Mei undid the back of her bikini, Naruto blushed a little. Naruto then started to put on sunscreen while Mei started to laugh. Mei exclaimed, Oh god, it's cold, and Naruto laughed. Bitch, Temari thought, frowning at Mei, who had spent the last 3 days by Naruto's side non-stop. Together, they went out to eat, watched movies, and are now at the beach. Mei has been flirting wildly with Naruto, and he is enjoying their time together. I see now, Temari, she thought to herself as she knelt down, what's so great about her? Sure, she has a nice face, big boobs, great hair, and she's a powerful kunoichi. With her fists clenched, Temari said to herself, no, I can't give up. I'll show Naruto that I'm— wait, what am I going to show Naruto? Before catching herself. Am I not sexy enough? I may not be all that girly but I'm not ugly, Temari thought to herself. Temari thought, blushing and balling her fists, I don't like him. It's for his own well-being, really. I just don't want him to end up with some slut. After taking off her hoodie, Temari inhaled deeply and said, okay, let's get started. She was wearing a light green bikini that was neither too revealing nor too hidden. Temari grinned and approached Naruto. Hey, Natsu, Temari said, can you also put some sunscreen on me? I can't reach my back that well. Natsu, Temari called as she walked up, and she saw Naruto and Mei sitting up straight and staring down at the sand. She then noticed a small toad in the sand and felt uneasy. As the toad erupted into smoke, Naruto turned to face Temari, looking at her with fear in his eyes. Temari, we have a problem, he yelled, leaping to his feet. Konoha knows that I killed those rude guys. And Jiraiya is coming here to kill me, he added, using air quotes. Naruto grabbed his head and said, I'm fucked. He felt something touch his shoulder and turned to see Mei holding it. Mei asked gravely, what is going on? Naruto took a deep breath and started to explain. Following a 30-minute explanation, Mei looked at Temari and Naruto with nervous expressions on their faces. I was thinking about going to Konoha for an alliance but looks like that's dead in the water, Mei said with an angry expression on her face. Mei rubbed her chin and said, what we need to do now is get Naruto out of here without raising suspicion. Temari and Naruto both let out a breath they weren't aware they were holding in response to her words, I'm not going to turn you in, so, get those looks of your faces. How are we going to do that, replied Naruto. The last time I left a village I had to fake my own death and now they're on my ass again, said Naruto. He suddenly felt 2 hands grab his shoulders and turned to see Temari grinning. That's it, Temari said, confusing Mei and Naruto. We can fake your death again, Temari continued, drawing blank looks from both of them. What are you serious? I just started my life as Natsu, Naruto replied. I got a manga shop membership, a bank account, Hell, I even have life insurance, he replied. Mei remarked, well, it's not like we have a lot of options. I guess we have to fake your death. With a hint of sadness, Mei bent forward and pulled Naruto into her breasts. Mei, crying anime tears, said, oh Naruto. Our love was just getting started but fate slashed it to pieces. Oh how cruel, I cannot be with you. But it must be so, I'm Mizukage and you're about to die. Naruto laughed. Naruto comforted Mei, saying, don't worry. We can still be friends. I promise. Mei kissed him on the cheek, leaving a mark of her lips. Mei hugged Naruto and said, you're so sweet. Thank you. Unbeknownst to Naruto, he inspired hope in Temari and Mei. Naruto broke the hug and said, okay, then. How are we going to fake my death? Last time Kankuro used one of his puppets, Temari stated, so we'll need another one. And a master to use it, she replied. Alongside Chio. So you need me to use my puppets to help fake Naruto's death again? Chio asked, glancing at a grinning Naruto, Temari, and Mei. They all nodded. How long did you say it'll be until the Leaf Ninja arrive? Chio inquired. Pervy Sage is taking the long way here. Will that be enough time? Naruto asked, referring to 2 days. Chio appeared perplexed. They all grinned as Chio said, aloud. I'll need a pair of your clothes, your exact height and weight measurements, and a sample of your hair. I'll see if I can modify my puppets to look like you exactly except for the face. Okay, now for the tricky part, Mei replied, we need to make it look realistic. Sanatsu will need to attack Temari somewhere in the village, but where? Mei responded. Mei nodded and Chio said, don't you still have the west wing of the hospital under construction? Very well, then. We better get to work, she cackled. 2 days subsequently. When Jiraiya, Kankuro, Sakura, Guy, and Lee arrived at Kiri's periphery, he observed that the village was under reconstruction. Jiraiya said, so is this why your sister was sent here? And Kankuro nodded. Yeah. Temari and Elder Chio were sent here to escort a group of Suna medical staff, Kankuro stated. Kiri doesn't have a trained medical department. So Elder Chio and the others were supposed to train them, he replied. But with that psycho Natsu running around, that may be in jeopardy, he stated, let's go and find Temari. I just hope we got here in time, said him. Sakura reassured him, don't worry, Kankuro. I'm sure Temari's okay. Jiraiya urged them on, come on, let's head over to the village. After a short while, Jiraiya and the group were heading toward the still under construction Kiri Hospital when they noticed patients, staff members, and nurses running out of the building. Jiraiya said, perplexed by the circumstances, what the hell? A woman yelled, Lord Kankuro, Lord Kankuro. Everyone turned to see a young Suna girl dressed as a nurse. Mocha, what's going on? Exclaimed Kankuro. Mocha exclaimed, Lady Temari is inside the hospital fighting. It's Natsu. He's back and he's here to kill her. Tears filled her eyes as she spoke. Jiraiya and Kankuro became aware of the situation. Naruto had a scheme. They were going to find out what they didn't know. Jiraiya said, Sakura, Lee. Help evacuate the patients from the hospital, and they both nodded in agreement. Sakura and Lee nodded, yes, sir, and quickly left. Jiraiya said, Guy with us. And for God's sakes, no 8 gates. No need to mess this village up even more than it already is. Guy nodded in agreement. Guy exclaimed, very well, let's roll, as he, Jiraiya, and Kankuro hurried to the hospital. The hospital's west wing. Hearing the sounds of battle, Jiraiya, Guy, and Kankuro ran down the hallway. They all found Temari as they turned another corner. As Temari threw her fan at Natsu, she roared, Ra. Naruto leapt over the fan and kicked Temari in the face, sending her crashing into the wall. As he got closer to Temari, Naruto said in his disguised voice, You're mine now, princess. Just then, Guy charged forward and gave Naruto a kick to the ribs, sending him flying down the hallway. After hitting the wall, Naruto got to his feet and groaned, oh shit, clutching his ribs. Who the hell did that? He exclaimed. Guy grinned his characteristic smile and said, "Konoha's handsome green beast." Might Guy. His expression changed to a serious one. "You are very youthful, Mr. Natsu," which caused Naruto to widen his eyes. "You killed a kunoichi and are now attempting to kill another woman." "How despicable," said the man. Naruto worriedly exclaimed, "Oh, shit, Guy-sensei is here." He hadn't anticipated Guy's arrival. "Damn, I can't stop the plan now," he thought to himself as he got to his feet. Naruto exclaimed, "Nice try, dude, but I won't go down so easily." He then removed 2 scrolls and unsealed them to reveal 2 puppets. After Naruto placed 2 seal tags on them, Kankuro's eyes widened and he exclaimed, "Be careful everyone, this is a secret Suna puppet technique. Those puppets will fight now," to which Jiraiya nodded. "Alright, I get it. I'll take on Natsu by himself," Jiraiya told the Guy and Kankuro. He said, "You two take on one of the puppets. And be careful." Guy and Kankuro nodded in agreement. Then, Guy and Kankuro pursued a puppet each, while Jiraiya pursued Naruto and his puppets in separate directions. Alongside Kankuro. When they were in the clear, Kankuro and the puppet stopped following the puppet to an abandoned area of the hospital. Kankuro said, "Lady Chio, is that you?" And the puppet nodded. "Yes, Kankuro," Chio uttered, "and I'm in charge of the puppets from a distance." Alongside Chio. "This is very easy with Ao's help," Chio said, placing her hand on Ao's shoulder behind her. "I appreciate your help, Ao. Your sensor ability is remarkable," Chio continued, and Ao nodded. "I appreciate your kind words, Lady Chio," Ao replied. Chio was on the ground, using her chakra strings to simultaneously control 2 small puppets and the 2 puppets Naruto had summoned. Returning with Kankuro. "Now then, Kankuro," Lady Chio commanded through the puppet, "let's make it look realistic. Let's summon out a crow and make it look like a battle happened." With that, she started to demolish the hospital. Grinning, Kankuro called forth a crow and set about demolishing the area of the hospital he was in. "I've always wanted to blow up a building," he thought to himself. Alongside Jiraiya. Jiraiya and Naruto each made a stop in a distinct area of the medical facility. Naruto asked, "Do they know if it was Naruto, or was it Natsu?" Jiraiya laughed. Jiraiya remarked, "Konoha is certain it's Natsu, but this is bad Naruto." Naruto gave him a wide-eyed look as he said, "Danzo has been using the death of Ino to rile up the citizens. He's trying to portray Suna as a hostile force." Worried, Naruto asked, "Is he going to push for war?" Jiraiya shook his head. "No. But he's certainly going to milk this for all it's worth," Jiraiya replied. "With Ino's death he's making Tsunade look like an ineffective leader. You need to be more careful," he responded. "Regardless if he's wrong about Suna being behind her death, he's becoming more popular," he stated, "and once he gets too popular, he will go to the daimyo and request him to make him Hokage," Jiraiya said with a scowl. "Well, this might help you guys out," Naruto remarked, calling greedy bastard, as he unfolded a scroll. Jiraiya gasped when she saw the body, a dead, blonde boy roughly Naruto's age. "Hello, Natsu," declared Naruto. Alongside Guy. Guy was running after his puppet when it turned around and hurled a barrage of kunai in his direction. Guy quickly avoided the blows and started to run along the wall. Guy declared as he got closer to the puppet, "Such insignificant tactics will not stop me." Guy then leapt off the wall and started to spin. Guy yelled, "Leaf Hurricane," as he kicked the puppet, who raised his hands in self-defense and flew into a wall. The puppet struck the wall with such force that it cracked. It then fell to the ground, prepared itself, and assumed a defensive stance. Guy rushed over to the puppet and cocked back his fist, punching it, but the puppet deflected the blow. Guy ducked and jumped back as the puppet countered with a kick that almost struck his jaw and a punch to the ribs. Guy said, "Striking a stance, your taijutsu isn't bad," and added, "For a novice." His smile was infectious. Alongside Chio. "Novice," Chio exclaimed, "I'll show you a novice," as she started to pay closer attention to Guy's puppet. With a drop of sweat, Ao observed. "This is a wise elder," he thought to himself. "She's acting like a child." Alongside Guy. Guy started to charge at the puppet, hitting it with a barrage of punches and kicks, but the puppet started to block and parry him. The puppet was able to follow Guy at first, but after a short while the elite Jonin started to batter it. Guy yelled, "Yosh," as he delivered the puppet one last blow. The blow struck the puppet in the chest, shattering it into shards. Guy laughed and said, "Haha," adding, "You cannot beat the power of youth, dear puppet opponent." Jiraiya called out over a communication device, "Guy, come in. Reading you loud and clear, Jiraiya." "Go on," Guy replied. "I killed Natsu," Jiraiya stated. Kankuro defeated his puppet as well. "Rally back at the entrance of the hospital," he stated. Guy said, heading toward the entrance, "Copy that." The following day, Jiraiya approached Kankuro, who was standing next to a bandaged Temari, and said, "Thank you again for your assistance, Kankuro." Shaking hands, Kankuro said, "No problem, Lord Jiraiya." Then, without the other people noticing, he slipped a note into Jiraiya's sleeve that read, "I know that relations between Suna and Konoha are strained. But don't be afraid to drop by, we'll be glad to have you." Jiraiya nodded. Jiraiya said, "Thank you, Kankuro," as they parted ways. With a smile, Sakura approached Temari and said, "Temari." "I." Temari gave her a curious look, but Sakura continued, "I wanted to thank you for protecting Naruto." Temari's eyes widened. She said, "Back at the hospital with Shikamaru," and Temari nodded. "Shikamaru has been acting out lately. First it was Choji, then it was Ino," she continued, before giving him a bear hug. Sakura whispered in Temari's ear, "Stay away from Konoha. Shikamaru is dangerous. I don't want him to hurt you." Temari gave Sakura a hug in return. Sakura nodded as Temari said, "Thank you, Sakura. You be safe too, okay? Natsu isn't the only dangerous ninja out there. Be safe, everyone," Temari uttered as Jiraiya and his group started heading west and she and Kankuro started walking north out of the gates. After an hour of walking, Temari and Kankuro came to a stop in front of an old shack. Temari said, "You two can come on out," and then Naruto and Mei were visible through the open door. Naruto walked over to the two siblings and asked, "How are they? Are they doing okay?" Temari grinned and said, "They're doing fine." Naruto grinned back. "I spoke to Sakura in Kiri. She wants to be Hokage, to honor you," Temari added. With a trace of nostalgia, Naruto remarked, "Sakura is one of the smartest people I know. If she sets her sights on the Hokage seat, then it might be hers one day." "We should head back to Suna," Kankuro remarked. "Lady Mei, Bachi-sensei and the Chunin squad should be here in 2 days," he added. Mei grinned. Mei pulled out a scroll and gave it to Temari, saying, "Thank you. I'm grateful for the medical staff. It's just a shame none of you could stay longer." Mei laughed and Temari asked, "What's this?" Mei said, widening everyone's eyes, "An alliance treaty," adding, "From what you told me Konoha isn't to be trusted so easily," before turning to face Naruto. Mei said, "Goodbye Naruto. I hope to see you again." Naruto gave her a hug in return. "And any village willing to help those in need are allies of Suna," she continued. "I hope so, Mei," Naruto uttered, before Mei approached Kankuro. "Goodbye Temari." "Take care," Mei said, giving the blonde girl a final hug. "Safe travels, Lord Kankuro," she said, to which Kankuro nodded. Then, with a smirk on her face, Mei approached Temari and whispered, "It's a shame I can't be with Naruto. Maybe you should give it a shot. I've seen the way you looked at him." Temari blushed. Gazing back with a smile, Mei wished everyone safe travels, before vanishing into a whirlpool of water. Temari continued to blush as she turned to face Naruto. Temari, you okay? You look a little red," Naruto said, causing Temari to stammer. Temari waved her hands and said, I'm fine. Let's go home. It's been a stressful few days." The two boys nodded in agreement. Naruto donned a Suna Anbu mask featuring a scorpion. The mask's interior featured a seal that turned Naruto's hair black. Naruto said, "Let's head home," as the group began to make their way back to Suna. A few hours later, while walking along the road to the port to take a ferry to the mainland, Naruto, Temari, and Kankuro didn't realize that there were multiple figures hidden among the trees. Kabuto adjusted his glasses and said, Well. Look what we have here." the two older children of the former Kazekage. Standing next to Kabuto, Yoroi asked, "Should we take them now?" With a tone full of rage, Masumi declared, "I want justice for what happened in the Chunin exams. I want revenge on that puppet user." Kabuto grinned and said, "Patience you two. Let's not go into battle until it's on our terms." Both boys nodded. Having one of the Sand siblings could be a good substitute. The Kazekage Sand Keke Genke in their genes would be very beneficial to our dear lord, Kabuto thought, realizing that Lord Orochimaru had lost his chance to have the Sharingan with Sasuke. "Come on, you two. We need reinforcements and a plan," Kabuto uttered as the three vanished amidst whirlwinds of leaves. Land of Tea. Featuring Temari, Kankuro, and Naruto. Walking from east to west across the Land of Tea, Naruto, Temari, and Kankuro were forced to take a different route back to Suna via the southern ports due to the changing weather. But Naruto was content to have Konoha off his back once more and was not grumbling. "Man, I'm glad to be back," Naruto said as he looked around. "I remember this place. I came here once with my old team. We were trying to see if we could see our sensei's face," he replied. "Ho ho, really?" Kankuro exclaimed. "I won't lie. I've always wondered what he looks like behind that mask." "I'm betting it was blimp lips," Naruto remarked. Temari and Kankuro giggled as they imagined Kakashi to have blimp lips. Temari laughed and said, "I don't know. Maybe he had uneven nostrils. Like, one was really big and the other was really small." She imagined Kakashi to look like that as she mentioned how thoughtful both Naruto and Kankuro appeared. Naruto laughed and said, "That's a good one. So when we get to the port, we just hop on a ship and go to one of Wind Country's southern ports." Temari nodded. "Yep, pretty much. Shouldn't take us no more than 3 or 4 more days to get back home," Temari replied. "Oh yeah, Temari," Naruto said, grabbing her attention. "Sweet," she cheered. Temari said, "Yeah, what's up?" Temari's eyes widened as Naruto said, "I just remembered that new Princess Gale movie is coming out soon. Do you want to go with me?" Naruto asked. "Wait, what?" Temari exclaimed to herself. "Yami, Konohamaru, Moegi and Udon all like to go and watch them together. So do you want to go with me?" said Naruto. Temari took a deep breath and replied, "Sure," without blushing or fidgeting. "Oh man, is he asking me out on a date, right now? Oh man, I'm not ready for something like this," Temari thought to herself. "Oh my god, that's all I could think of. He's going to think," she started. With a joyful voice, Naruto exclaimed, "Awesome. I'll buy the tickets when we get back. Okay, I got a movie buddy again." Temari's so awesome, Naruto thought to himself. Kankuro glanced at his restless sister and the contentedly strolling Naruto, thinking, "God, they're so clueless." After a few hours, at twilight, the sun was beginning to set as Naruto, Temari, and Kankuro continued walking. Naruto yawned, "Damn, I'm tired. Should we find a place to set up camp tonight?" Kankuro shook his head. He pointed to the far off rain clouds and said, "We can't. Look, it's going to rain like hell soon. We have to keep moving until we can find an inn or something." Temari pointed ahead and said, "Hey look," pointing at a woman and a girl who appeared to be about 10 or 11 years old, struggling to push a cart with a broken wheel. "We should help," the woman said, and Naruto nodded. "All right," Naruto said as he approached the two women. "Hey, do you guys need help?" Naruto yelled at them, and both of them turned to face him. The young girl then pulled out a kunai as she approached the woman. The girls pointed the kunai at Naruto, who had his hands raised, and said, "Hold it, Buster. I can see you're a Suna shinobi. Who are ya and why are you in Tea Country?" Naruto said, Whoa, hold up. I'm just trying to help," as he directed his gaze toward the two women. The older woman gave off the impression of being an ordinary farmer. Aside from her attractive appearance, she had brown hair and brown eyes. The girl, on the other hand, had pale skin, onyx eyes, and raven black hair, and she seemed strangely familiar. The girl exuded a similar aura, and based on the way she held the kunai, it appeared that she was trained as a shinobi but had never engaged in combat. The woman said to Kurumi, "Calm down, Kurumi. I think these people are trying to help us." Kurumi scoffed. Kurumi looked at Naruto and said, how do we know these here folks ain't gonna rob us ma? Use too trustin'. Plus, I ain't trusting no one who hides his face behind a mask. Temari raised her hands and begged, please calm down. There's no need for violence. We can seal up your cart and give it to you. Kurumi gave her a look and gave a nod. Temari nodded as Kurumi said, fine, but I got my eye on you's blondie. Don't forget now. Temari said, Kankuro, seal up the cart. Kankuro nodded and moved forward to do just that. As he and Temari started to walk down the road, Kankuro said, here take it, carefully handing the scroll to the woman. We'll be heading now. The woman said, wait hole, up, adding that the storm was approaching quickly. If Kuromi was interested, she could invite everyone to stay the night on the farm. Ma. We can't trust these folks. We don't know them, said Kurumi. Kurumi pouted and huffed, now honey, if they wanted to do something to us, they would have done it already. Come on, get some food. I'm making chicken stew tonight. Temari questioned, are you sure? You don't have to. The woman smiled and said, no, I insist, sweetie. This is my daughter Kurumi. My name is Sango. We will be happy to have you. Naruto walked forward and said, well, I'm sold. Lead the way, Mrs., to which Sango nodded. Sango called out to Naruto, Temari, Kankuro, and a sulky Kurumi, saying, follow me, y'all. After 2 hours. Naruto pushed his bowl aside and remarked, man, that was some great chicken stew, Ms. Sango. I'm going to be full till morning. He then rubbed his stomach. Naruto blushed as Sango, adopting his new alias, said, well thank you Menma, and I'm so glad you took off that mask. Such a handsome boy like Ya should show his face. Naruto walked around the table gathering up bowls, saying, all you're to kind miss. Let me help with the dishes, Naruto added, and Sango nodded. Temari addressed the girl with raven hair, so, Kurumi, where's your dad? Is he here or? My pa alive, said Kurumi, he's out in the fields moving them sheep. Me and Ma just got done taking a few into town, she continued. Kankuro inquired, how long have you been living here? And Sango grinned. I've been in this here spot all my life, said Sango, my pa owned this land and I got it when he died of the pox. I met my husband a year later. I was 16, he was 14 and we just hit it off. He's still got a long way to go with farm life, she continued. Naruto asked, how so? And Sango laughed. Sango giggled and said, my husband messes up a lot. He's bad with plants, animals, and building. Hell, he'd forget his ass if it weren't attached to him. Kurumi laughed. Naruto gave Kuromi a sidelong glance as she remarked, Pa is good at one thing though. He was a shinobi long time ago. But he got hurt and abandoned. Damn. I know the feeling, Naruto remarked, evoking curiosity in Kurumi and Sango as well as sadness in Temari and Kankuro. Sango noticed a figure approaching the door from outside at that precise moment. About damn time. I swear that he's going to be the death of me, Sango exclaimed as the door opened and a man with black hair, a scar on the right side of his face, and an eye patch covering his right eye was revealed. As soon as he walked inside the house, Obito exclaimed, hot damn, it's raining hard out there. How's it going, babe? He asked before noticing his wife and daughter, along with 3 Suna ninja, a blonde girl, a boy with paint on his face, and another blonde boy with whisker marks. Toby let go of his bag upon seeing Naruto. Toby said, Naruto, causing Temari, Kankuro, and Naruto to freeze. How do you know my name? Asked Naruto. A moment later, he had to avoid a kunai that had slashed past him and lodged in the wall. Hey, what the fuck, he yelled. Obito pulled out a kunai and exclaimed, I knew you'd come back for revenge. Kurumi, get ready. Before her mother, Kurumi leapt across the room. When she opened her eyes, she saw a pair of Tomo Sharingan. Naruto yelled, revenge for what? I don't know you, dude. I tried, damn it. I tried to stop the attack, it's not my fucking fault, Obito said, shocking Naruto. Don't lie. It's the fox, isn't it? With a kunai in her hand, Temari questioned, what attack, what are you talking about? Since her fan was ineffective inside the building. Crowding out a crow, Kankuro said, "Drop the kunai." "Everyone calm down," Sango yelled, causing everyone to turn to face her. "Obito, please sit here," Sango added, dragging a chair over to the end of the table. Obito obeyed her command and walked over, saying, "Now, sit." She then pulled out another chair and said, "Now, Menma, or Naruto, or whatever the fuck your name now is, sit." So then, Sango said calmly, "Why is my husband attempting to kill a boy in my home who lied about his name as a form of retaliation?" Naruto said, "Yeah dude, how do you know me?" Obito questioned, "You really don't know?" Naruto shook his head, "Oh god damn." Obito rubbed his temples. The room fell silent, and Naruto became quiet. "Okay, so this is how the story goes," Obito said, taking a deep breath. "I am a student of your father. I was there during the Kyuubi attack where I met you for the one and only time, and I was the one who failed to stop Zetsu in time." Naruto exclaimed, startled and perplexed. "What? This is what took place," Obito declared. Rewind to 13 years ago. While sprinting towards Konoha, Obito thought to himself, "Madara, Zetsu, you crazy bastards. I told you not to do it." Suddenly, a loud noise shattered the silence, almost rupturing his eardrums. When Obito dashed to a cliff, he saw the Kyuubi wreaking havoc and killing people. "My god," uttered Obito. "No. Not, god me," Black Zetsu exclaimed, emerging from the shadows with a baby Naruto in his arms. "Hello, Obito," Zetsu said. Obito yelled, "Zetsu, what the hell did you do?" "I did what you were too weak to do, Obito," Zetsu replied. "I have unleashed the 9 tails upon Konoha. Just like how Master Madara wanted, like how you were supposed to," Obito growled in response. Obito yelled, "I didn't want this. Hand over the kid, or else." Zetsu chuckled and cast a downward glance at Naruto. Before being snatched by Obito and thrown into a vortex, Zetsu started, "And what will you?" But as he landed, he realized he was in a dimension devoid of all life. Obito questioned, "Like it, Zetsu? This is my Kamui dimension. Your final resting place?" As he assumed a fighting stance. Zetsu laughed as Obito yelled, "Hand over the kid." Zetsu replied, "Sure," and hurled Naruto in Obito's direction. In a panic, Obito reached out to grab Naruto, but stopped when he saw Zetsu approaching him with a kunai. Zetsu stabbed Obito right as he was about to grab him. After kicking Zetsu away in retaliation, Obito looked down and saw the kunai protruding from his stomach. "Always the fool, Obito," he uttered. He said, "You should have listened to Master Madara," to which Obito retorted in laughter. Zetsu's eyes widened in realization as Obito said, "And you should have killed me when you had the chance," before opening another vortex and disappearing. Obito meant to leave him in this dimension, not to engage in combat. Zetsu yelled, "Obito!" into the void that engulfed him. In actuality, as he took the weeping Naruto into his arms, Obito thought, "Have fun, Zetsu." "Huh, this kid looks like," he started. The 4th Hokage, Minato Namikaze, heard a voice say, "I found you." A yellow flash followed, and he yelled, "You there, masked man. Give me back my son." Removing his mask, Obito said, startling Minato, "Minato-sensei. Stop, it's me. I didn't take him. I killed the guy who did though," Obito added, returning Naruto to Minato, who then started consoling the youngster. Minato exclaimed, "Oh god Naruto," casting a glance at Obito. "How are you alive?" Minato queried. "Where have you been?" Holding his head down, Obito said, "I tried to stop all this sensei, but Madara and Zetsu. I was too slow. The Kyuubi destroying the village startled him out of his reverie. We need to stop the 9 tails," Opshio yelled, but Minato raised his hand. To Obito's surprise, Minato said, "I can stop it myself. You need to go. If the leaf finds out you're alive, they kill you. Especially if you had anything to do with this," Minato continued, causing Obito to cry. Opshio wiped his tears and turned around as Minato commanded him to leave, hide, and start a family. "But don't come back, I'll take this secret to my grave." After saying, "Goodbye sensei," and disappearing into a vortex, Minato sobbed as he turned to face the blazing village. Minato said, "Goodbye, Obito," as he disappeared in a flash of yellow light. Flashback concludes. And ever since, I've been hiding here, Obito concluded his tale. Naruto was the only one listening who wasn't in shock. Naruto whispered, my father was the fourth Hokage. He sealed the Kyuubi inside of me, gave me this burden, and was the one who made my life a living hell. He then gripped the table. Fox, are you listening to me? Is that accurate? Naruto mentally questioned. Yes, kid, replied the Kyuubi. Frankly, it doesn't matter. Fourth Hokage or not, he did ruin your life by sealing me inside you. He could have teleported me away from the village, but he didn't, the Kyuubi replied. Naruto started to cry because he finally realized the whole truth about his father's actions, including his anguish, suffering, and miserable life. As the tears streamed down his cheeks, Naruto felt two sets of arms envelop him, Temari and Sango. Gazing downward, Kankuro thought, man, what our father did to Gaara was intentional. But, Naruto's dad accidentally screwing up his life, damn. Poor decision, sensei, Obito thought to himself, sacrificing both Naruto's and your life for the village. Damn it. As Kurumi said, Pa, we got company. Obito, Naruto, Temari, and Kankuro turned to face her as she was watching in sorrow. Kurumi also felt a strong chakra presence outside the house. Donning his mask, Naruto hurriedly left the house, looking out into the tea field as Opshio, Kurumi, Temari, and Kankuro trailed behind him. Naruto thought, OSH*T, as he peered ahead and saw that there were 25 auto ninjas standing in the center of the field. Immediately, he recognized one of them. Hello, Temari, Kankuro, Kabuto grinned and said, long time no see. Temari clutched her fan and questioned, Kabuto, what are you doing here? I'm here to collect you and Kankuro, Kabuto replied, please come quietly. There is no need for bloodshed, he responded. Naruto called out to Obito, hey, can we chat later? Mind helping us out? Obito nodded. Obito said, sure kid, raising his eye patch to reveal a shocking Sharingan that startled Kabuto. Kurumi. Stay close to me, this is going to be your first fight, Obito said, and Kurumi nodded before using her own Sharingan. Yes, Pa, Kurumi replied. Kankuro said, gesturing to the crow in front of him, let's do this. While Naruto brought out his smaller fans, Temari prepared hers. Naruto snarled, damn it. Why can't I have a regular mission? As he peered at the opposing force up ahead.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.